up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Flagrant 2 No Easy Buckets Analysis by Assholes, water cooler commentary for your sports needs. This is the Patreon episode, and we have one of the GOATs.
Yes, sir.
We have one of the GOATs with us today, a special guest that I wanted to get for the main episode, but he's too busy. He wasn't willing to break his plans. He wasn't willing to accommodate us. So guess what? You get full flagrancy. You get full peak flagrancy. You get Darth Amin. We don't see him go Darth Amin that often, but you get to have Darth Amin. You're behind the paywall right now. None of this getting out there in the world. Yeah. Amin Elhassan
It's a beautiful place
is
to be.
here with us right now.
What do you really think about Jews?
Let's not do this. Let's not upset the mouse. We're not upsetting the mouse today.
Jews are the paywall.
Let's not get that crazy. Okay. Yeah. So Amin is here with us today. We want to get, I really wanted Amin to come in, obviously, because we have the draft coming up, but just to hear him eat his words about his prediction for the finals. You know what I mean?
I'm surprised you didn't go to Toronto for the parade.
I went for 5. I couldn't go because I was here.
See this guy.
That parade was massive, bro. People got shot at that shit, too.
4 people got shot.
Yeah, that's wrong.
It's not like
I respect it, though. That's what I'm saying. I'm like,
make a big deal of it. Like, come on.
4 people
That's
out
hard
of a
for
million.
Toronto. For Toronto, that's hard.
Wait, what happened? What happened? What do you mean? So 4 people got shot.
4 people out of a million.
Anybody died?
Nobody died.
What a friendly way to shoot someone. Think about that. Only in Canada would they be like,
Give me your
shot him in the
bicep.
leg. You know what I mean? Shot him in the shoulder.
Shot him in the shoulder and then said sorry after.
Like, you're okay?
How did they get shot? How did this happen?
Like, oh, it's just a flesh wound.
Dude,
You weren't trying, bro.
It's weird because it was when they were on the stage, and then you see like the zoom out of like the thousands and thousands of people, and you see hundreds just running, and like what the hell going on? And yeah, somebody was shooting.
This is how you know that the guys were drunk, because none of them respond to that.
It's hot up in the 6, man.
Oh, can you give us a little inside info? Maybe you got some inside info. So Masai, did he punch the deputy?
No, he pushed him. The deputy pushed him back. Then Masai pushed him back, but it might have missed and ended up into a mush.
Didn't I call this?
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did.
Also,
I said I'm almost. I'm like, unless I see a punch.
Akaash, please step in here.
It wasn't no punch. And the other
I don't listen.
This guy said he saw the video. I was like, there is no video.
I saw the video afterwards.
He said he saw the video of him showing his credentials.
Well, that's the other thing. So
no video of that.
there's 2 credentials.
Okay.
There's a credential that you have for the finals, and then when it's clear that we're going to have a championship celebration, there's a second super credential. Right?
Gotcha. Okay.
It's the PR department's responsibility to get that to all the relevant people, because it's not just the staff, but also like the player families, right?
That's it. Yeah.
And so I've been there where like I'm right up against the rope, but my finals credential ain't enough. So I think Masai was holding his regular finals credential, didn't have the other one. But also, like, come on.
Kaz's reaction was, fuck the police. I'm like, he's doing his job. Yes, you did.
That's not what I said.
You said
I
something
said,
to the extent.
if you're in charge of security, like, I've thrown a lot of events, you do say Palooza, all that other shit. We show security like, yo, look at these faces. Make sure they're good. Like, this is the president of the Raptors. Like, this is somebody you should know.
This is true.
If your job is to secure the area.
Plus, when you got all these other team personnel are saying he's good, right? Like, that's the other thing. And I get it. Like, they're just doing their job or whatever. The part where they still have an investigation afterward, that's where it turns into okay.
Extra. Yeah.
Like, all right, it was a misunderstanding. Everyone goes home. No one was hurt. Just mushed them a little bit.
How do you seen the video of it?
I seen the video, yeah.
Of the
mush? Yeah.
Yeah.
Where's that? That you must have
We can't find
exclusive
that.
rights to that.
So
that ain't online, bro.
Adam Silver cut that shit out.
His idea was like, Adam Silver made sure no videos
100%.
got out. It was a bad look. I'm like,
100%.
there's 20,000
It seems like
people
y'all are
in there.
both kind of right.
Hold
Like,
on.
Adam Silver suppressed a video of him getting mushed,
Hold on,
according to Amin.
100% Adam Silver suppressed video.
I don't know who suppressed what.
He just said.
He said we don't have access to that. He does.
I'm just saying, I haven't seen it online.
You saw it privately.
I saw it privately.
That's all I'm saying. So Adam had to make some phone calls.
I'm
and
just
be like,
saying,
yo, we're
if
not
there
getting
was
out here.
a punch as there was being
Ain't no
reported,
punch. It was no punch.
that's what I'm saying.
Kaz
If there was
did
a
say
punch,
yesterday
shit would be everywhere.
he got
bro.
mushed probably.
Can the first black president that wins a NBA championship
You're not
punch
the
a
first.
cop? Oh, who's the first black
God,
president of the team?
Wayne Embry, when they were, who by the way works for the Raptors. Wayne Embry was the dude that traded for Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, or excuse me, traded for Oscar Robertson when the Bucks had Oscar.
He was GM or Prez?
He was a GM.
That's not what I said, was it?
That's all that shit.
No.
Y'all love titles.
I do my research.
Y'all love titles so much.
You know who loves titles? The person getting paid. There's a big difference between president and GM,
There's-
fam. Don't we know it?
Semantics.
Okay, so
No, it's not
so
semantics.
Danny Ainge, you know what his title is?
Dick Ryder.
It's the one on his business card.
GM, I don't know.
He Ghostface Killer. Masai gets all the FaceTime. Masai gets all the publicity. He gets the money. There is a marked difference between president and GM.
No, I mean, it's what I'm basically saying is the number one guy gets the fame and the money. The number two guy doesn't. Whether you call him president, him GM. You call him GM, you call him assistant GM. You call him president, you call him
exactly.
GM. It doesn't matter. We're just saying the number one guy gets it, the number two guy doesn't.
Yeah.
And so David Griffin in New Orleans is the president of basketball operations. All that means is he's the main dude making decisions. That's all that means. And so all the other stuff is semantics, right? Whether Masai is the president or not, all we're trying to say is he's the number one decision maker.
And the president is the number one decision maker.
Sometimes the general manager is if there is no president of basketball operations. There are teams where it's GM.
I get what you're saying. I get what
All
you're
that
saying.
being said, if
Most teams-
I'm the
I think
sheriff
most
of
teams have a
security over there, I should know who this guy is, especially when
That's
a
also
bunch
true.
of
If
bunch
he's
of
the
your
number
bosses
one.
are telling you this guy's good. Let him buy.
You got to memorize 100 different people.
No, hold on. Hold on. By the way, these dudes are not like, now, what is this game again? This is the National Basketball. They know
They know who they are,
NBA, they
yo.
know the
Yeah.
finals. They know who Messiah is. Like, that's not a fly under the
Dude,
radar.
they're cops in San Francisco. They're a bunch of gay guys that like smoking
It's not San
cocks.
Francisco.
Okay?
Not yet.
It's Oakland?
Oakland. That's East
Okay.
Oakland.
PD,
yeah.
man.
Oakland, so they're a bunch of white hipsters that have just moved into the
That
neighborhood.
like smoking cocks.
They're like smoking cocks. Listen, guaranteed. Okay, if it was a famous gay porn star trying to rush the stage, he would know exactly who it was.
Name one.
Harvey Milk.
Is that a real one? I didn't check that. But that's a real one. We gotta have a conversation, bro.
That's the fucking mayor that they made the gay movie about.
Oh, it is? Oh, I want to know, bro.
He died of gay flu.
That sounds like a gay porn
No,
star.
he got shot, fam.
Oh, I thought he had AIDS.
No.
Wow! Gay flu!
Oh my god.
Gavian flu.
Oh my God.
Behind the paywall,
Oh,
right?
my God. We're safe. We're safe there. We're safe.
The asshole army don't have snitches, right?
We good? No,
Nah, we
bro.
got money, bro.
I had to wear a fucking MAGA hat because I lost the bet, bro.
Dude,
We're
yeah,
good.
And it had to leave.
If you haven't seen a picture of him with a Make America Great Again hat on, which he had to wear for a whole episode,
And
you're good.
the army kept it
It's
tight.
never seen the light of day, bro. You're safe. You're good.
Be good.
You gotta say that Pride Month, motherfucker. Goddamn. It's only
Who
like a
give
few
a fuck
weeks
about
left.
Pride Month, dog?
God damn.
Fuck out of here. Y'all get these
Yo,
jokes. Be proud
real
enough to take
talk,
these jokes.
When, I don't know if we spoke about this on this podcast or not, but like when I was in San Francisco, we went to this gay bar, right?
Okay.
That's
And,
what's up.
It was what's up because you see some old gays
Yeah?
and
Fat dicks?
no, you don't see their dicks, but you do see some of their dicks walking down the street. But like, yo, old gays, all their friends are dead. You have to think about that. Like, son, they went. There's like Vietnam vets.
Yo, we're talking.
Real
man.
talk, all
on
their
some-
friends
on
are
some real
dead.
shit, on
It's
some
like
real
that
shit.
Lil Uzi Vert song.
All the gay people I know are 40 and under. So
Yeah.
I would be really fascinated to hear the perspective of a 65-year-old gay
That's the
person.
thing. Like,
what I
I've
was
never met
saying.
an
Y'all-
old gay guy.
Y'all had it
before.
so good. Y'all got it so good. You could walk around and just be gay. Back in my day, I had to like fucking eat bitches out in the middle of the street just to prove like that's crazy,
They
man.
were getting that dong fever. What was it called? Dang fever?
Dang.
This is gay
dengue.
flu. Gay flu.
Dong gay fever. Dong gay.
Dong fever.
Long gay fever.
Point is, that shit, all their friends died from
That's a
gay
fucking
bowling.
HIV, son.
Gay
That shit
bowling.
was crazy. Yo, being gay back in the day, that shit was brave, son.
Yeah.
You could
Still
die.
brave. It's still brave.
What?
It's still brave to be gay now.
I mean, it's not. I mean, like, let's
Yeah,
be,
it's a little.
let's be honest.
It's a little
It's a lot
bit
of-
Yo,
easier.
even people behind the camera are making faces.
Well, they'll never be able to see them. Good job. But no, I mean, you know, it's a little weird to me. Like, I'm not even gonna go down that road. But yes, it's still very brave for somebody to come out in 2019 because as open as it is, you still open yourself to a lot more criticism. now.
absolutely.
So,
We're
like,
just saying that comparative to the guys.
I'm talking about
yeah,
every
people that were
dick
getting
you
like
could
they're
die.
fucking getting shot in the face for being gay.
No,
Yeah,
not
like,
even
yeah.
getting beat up. We're talking about like you get cummed in, you die. Like
You talking
HIV was out there.
Yeah.
bro.
Well,
not
That
only
was
out there, but
murking
also it was
motherfuckers.
people called it a gay disease. So it was like, that's their like
That's
people.
their thing.
It was really
Yeah.
like
It was
something
called
like
GRID.
It was called what?
GRID. GRID. I don't know what the R was for, but it was gay something immunodeficiency disease. Like, gay was in the name.
Wow.
No, it wasn't.
When it first, yeah.
For real?
Yeah, I saw a documentary on it because I'm gay.
No shit.
It's like,
Yo, real talk. If you want to think about it, that's how much gay dudes fuck. That it went through that community like chicken pox.
What are you doing?
No, I'm being serious.
Hey, wall.
No. I would say this on any podcast. It's a testament to male sexuality, right? It ravaged a community, and it can only ravage the community through sexual transmission. And I don't know if you have any gay friends, but gay friends will tell you.
Also intervening, like the drug.
Yeah,
So you had both, right? You had the drug shit, motherfuckers doing heroin, and then you also had the fuck shit. And if you speak to any gay friends, like, sex is a bunch of dudes.
Yeah.
Like if it's dudes, we gonna fuck.
They be fucking.
That's it. Hey, what's up? We good? We're in the the sauna. Boom.
They
You
had
know
like
what I mean?
some term that they called themselves, like non like if you were clean, it was like some shit that they called each other. Like, oh, you non-tested or you non something. It was some weird
I've
shit.
heard.
I was watching the Freddie Mercury movie.
That shit was
And it
so
was
trash.
That was
You
a
know
trash
what?
ass movie. That shit was trash as
I
fuck.
thought he was good as Freddie Mercury.
No, he was good. The movie was trash.
Stars Born is trash. That was trash.
Stars Born was fucking terrible.
Trash as
Holy
fuck.
shit.
But I heard the reason gay dudes started getting brolic is that's a way to let other gay dudes know I'm good, I'm healthy.
Oh,
really?
So like, this is a way I can let all the other gay dudes know I'm all right, I'm
like
healthy.
pit bulls.
Yo,
That's
Like
Akaash.
pit bulls,
That's next
bro.
level.
That
That's
blew my mind. I'm like,
That's
oh,
next
okay, that
level.
makes sense.
how'd you learn
That makes
that?
sense.
Dave Smith and I fuck dudes.
Yeah, buddy.
That's why I don't get much dick because everybody think I got that shit.
Probably. Bad built ass.
Wait, hold on.
It's your low immunity, motherfucker.
Go.
If you're gay and you're not getting any dick, like does that make
doesn't
you?
exist. There's
Isn't
no
that
gay
the-
terrorists.
This is the lowest. Yeah.
Name one
Ain't no
gay
That
gay
is
terrorist.
school
true.
shooters.
Yeah, you know who the gay terrorists are? Those guys with the AIDS giving it to everybody. Real talk. But seriously, yeah, dude, it's sexual fluidity. It's like being Puerto Rican. It's like it's out there for you. You can get laid, man.
Without the children.
And there's no terrorism in Puerto Rico. These are happy people.
God damn.
Think about it.
I think it was that one dude, the dirty bomber.
He was Puerto Rican?
I think so. Yeah.
What was his name?
That dirty bomb, that just sounds like what you call a Puerto Rican, don't it?
I feel like that's what they call your nut shot. Just, here comes the dirty bomb.
Sabroso.
Every time a Puerto Rican woman gets pregnant, she got a dirty bomb let off.
How did we get here?
I don't know. Back to no. We have a real hoops expert here. As much shit as I give him.
We're talking about the finals. That's how we got.
That's how we trust me, this happens every fucking week.
I mean, it is the finals.
And every game going to sudden death.
Oh God!
Every time is a game 7. Dude, every time is a game 7.
Every time you cough, you just missed a 3 at the end of the buzzer.
There's probably a gay guy named Larry O.B. Yo, the Larry O.B. trophy's in New York right now.
Yeah,
Danny.
Danny Green. Yeah, he brought the
Right.
Breakfast
He was
Club,
at Breakfast
right?
Club
Yeah.
today, man.
Oh,
Shit.
nice,
So
okay.
I had no clue. Oh, just to preface everybody with Amin. So those of you guys who don't know Amin's on ESPN. Amin used to work in the front office of the Phoenix Suns. Other team?
The Knicks.
bit.
Let's go,
A little bit for the
Knicks.
Knicks. A little bit for the
God
Knicks.
damn it.
You got out of that one. Good enough. So obviously we want to get your takes on everything that's going on, all the shit that we've been talking shit about that we know nothing about. But that Larry O.B. trophy, which is the championship trophy,
Right.
one, I didn't realize that there is one trophy.
And everything else is a replica.
Everything else is
Yeah.
replica.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what they do with the Lombardi Trophy.
Yes.
Yeah.
2, it is gold.
Yeah. Yeah.
Tiffany's gold.
They gotta handle it with gloves.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like
So like before the playoffs, they usually bring the Larry O'Brien trophy to like a bunch of like media outlets.
Yeah.
Like when I was at BR, like
saw
that
you
pic,
take
yeah,
a
that
pic. That
picture
was
is
the
like
real one?
the real
Okay.
deal joint. So it's like everything else is a replica. You're right. Yeah.
So you have a situation where you have a guy, and my understanding is each guy on the team gets it for a little bit.
yeah.
Yes.
Stanley Cup, they do that too.
I was about
You
to
get
say,
a
I didn't know
gonna
that was
say
an NBA
the
thing.
Stanley Cup. I met the dude who accompanies the Stanley Cup, so I have all the information about that one.
Right.
So first of all, you get your name
Stanley
engraved
Cup is the
on it.
hockey
Yes.
trophy that they
Yeah,
so,
for people who don't watch hockey.
If you see it, it's really tall and it's got like 6 concentric rings until
Yep.
it goes up to the top, right?
Okay.
On those rings has engraved of the names of all the people who've ever won it, right?
Wow.
So I said, what happens like when it fills up? He says the bottom disc falls off, it goes to the Hall of Fame, and then they put a new one on top, and then they start engraving the new names.
Oh,
And so,
shit.
so
When's the last time they put a new one?
he said they've
on?
done 3 or 4, I think.
what do you mean they fall off?
So like it
takes
like
it off.
takes
They take it
off.
off.
Oh, you unscrew.
They unscrew it, comes off. They send it to the Hockey Hall of Fame. They screw a fresh one on top, and then the new names start going on top, and then that one falls out, and everyone keeps moving down. So
And they shrink as they go down?
No. Because if you look at it, it's like this, and then at the top, it's.
They're all the same
this
size.
Part, this part right here. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. And then they have a personal security guard that travels with the trophy.
Dude, to 310 days a year.
So my boy said
on the
something
road.
interesting that he was surprised about. That he had learned, and he goes, the craziest thing is they just give you the trophy.
Yeah. Well, there's a
For
guy.
the NBA one. No, the NBA
There's
one,
no
there's
guy?
no guy.
Oh, wow.
They just give it to you, and the team is responsible. Now, so the team gives it to the players, the coaches, whatever, the gym, whatever, and each person gets it for a certain amount of time.
Yep.
But, I mean, isn't it crazy that Danny Green is walking around New York right now with privately hired security that could easily get robbed, and Larry O'Brien trophy, like we've been snatching rapper chains. If there's anybody more safe than an NBA player, he's not going to shoot back. Nothing's going to happen.
Well, the thing about
snatch that trophy.
the thing about snatching jewelry is that eventually you want to be seen with it or sell it. Like you're not gonna go and be like, "Yo, what you got on this
right
fucking
there,
Larry O'B?"
That's hilarious.
At some point, they're going to have to put a new.
See, like the bottom one will pop off, and all the ones will move down, and then they'll put a
another
fresh
one on top.
Right there. Okay.
And so that's why it's always going to look like it looks.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's always looked kind of aged.
Yeah.
So,
It's
So
the
do they
dopest
make-
trophy.
Oh no!
it is.
And by far, like hockey. I don't give a fuck about hockey, but the way that the pomp and circumstance they do their playoffs, they do their that they do it best out of all the major sports.
I heard if you go to a live game, it's dope.
It is. I mean, like
I've
it's
been-
cool, but it's like
I've sat front row live game because we had that Bender show, so they would make us go for promo. So I was spoiled, and it was okay.
Okay.
It wasn't
Right.
It's a good atmosphere.
it's a
good
great
Yeah.
atmosphere. If you go to like arenas that are where the hockey team is like the main tenant
Attraction in town.
the pouring rights are usually like Canadian beers. So that's I always found that was fun. You go get a Molson Ice like on tap and
Right.
stuff. And then the hitting, like obviously, like you right by the glass, and
you can see it.
It's pretty dope, but it's
all right. Well, we don't want to waste our time with hockey when we have a real basketball expert here. So let's get started, my friend. Are the Warriors? Is it over? Is the dynasty done? What do they do?
Yeah, what was over the last 3 years? Yeah, that's over, right? I'm obviously the injury changes a lot, but I think Durant's out either way.
Yeah.
New York? You think Knicks?
I think Knicks.
think
I mean, like if there was anything that was written in the stars, like he tore his Achilles.
We had this conversation in Charlotte during
Yeah.
All-Star Weekend. It was like, it's not about getting the All-Star players. It's that shitty things happen to them.
That's exactly what I
when
told
they
Kaz.
get
I
there.
said, Kaz's like, man, are you sure, man? I'm worried they're not going to get it. I said, no. That's not the Knicks failure. Knicks failure isn't that they don't get the guy. It's that they get the guy and
And then
something's
it's just-
awfully wrong with him.
You said this before.
I said
This is
in-
at
in
All-Star Weekend
Charlotte.
during the
It's your
Dreamville
fault.
concert.
Oh yeah, when we were at the
Dreamville show
when we were at the
backstage, that's
Dudeville
what I'm talking
concert,
about, yeah.
dude. That Dudeville concert was
There
the
was like
shit.
8 women there.
All I
It
can
was
say
great.
is should have came to the brunch.
The brunch
Facts.
was where was that?
I wasn't there in time.
the
I wish
brunch
I would've
was-
came.
Just a bunch of guys
Kaz
drinking
had brunch
mimosas.
issues before.
We gonna do this again. We gonna do this
I
again.
had to touch on it. I'm out.
I forgot to invite
touch
you.
base.
I'm good.
So go on. So the
So let's
dynamic
just assume
changes.
Durant's gone, right?
Okay.
Klay Thompson blown ACL. People make a big deal out of that. Honestly, it's about a 6 to 9 month rehab, so he could be back probably by All-Star break, maybe a little bit after that.
Oh, he'll play next season.
I think so.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think he'll play.
Will he
like,
be the same? Because
ACL
back in the day, ACL, the first year you took 1 year off. Next year you came back, you weren't quite as good, and the second year back, you were like back.
that's fair. I think like you're definitely going to get back to 100%. A lot of it is just getting used to, because they said like your knee gets reconstructed is actually better than it was before you got hurt. But because you got hurt,
Psychologically.
you start like favoring, and that creates all the other issues. That's what happened to Derrick Rose. He has all his other stuff was in the other knee because he kept favoring this knee.
Okay.
So
AP said that.
so I think what's up?
Adrian Peterson said that. He
Oh,
goes, I mean, this guy's a fascinating human.
He's a fucking
He
beast.
goes. He was giving advice to somebody about the knee. He goes, it's gonna feel weird. That's in your head. At a certain point in time, you have to trust it. And he literally reconfigured his brain to just go on it. Now he tore a few. But to have that mental strength to just go, I don't
He
trust
had
it, but I'm going to go
2000.
anyway.
He almost had the greatest season ever after.
Yeah.
But you're saying,
But anyway, so the point is, maybe he's not 100% playing, but he's still good enough. And then they still got Draymond, they still got Steph. They're gonna have not like cap space, but they're gonna have exceptions to use to play around to go get other vets. it's not going to be what it was, but they should still
be in the mix.
This idea that like tear it down, like wait, hold on, slow
I
down.
saw this. I looked online, and I want to say if Livingston retires and Durant leaves, they're at like $90 million their payroll.
But then
which
Clay's deal is up all that.
A little part of me is very excited to see Steph on a team where he has to go nut every night.
Oh yeah. And the other part is you got to be concerned that is he gonna get hurt?
Well, that's we had that conversation on Tuesday. But
a
little part of me
Yeah.
has always wanted to see Steph on a trash team, putting up 40,
Right.
taking 30 shots a game. Now maybe he breaks down, but until he does, is it possible that the Warriors next year will be the most exciting Warriors that we've ever seen?
that's a good.
I don't, man. 2016 is hard to beat, man.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
That was because that was Mozart.
That was peak
right
stuff.
there.
Yeah.
Like just probably the greatest offensive season I've seen from beginning to end.
Yeah.
And like the fact that MVP stamp moment was on national TV in Oklahoma City when he hits it from like 38 feet
when he
or some
pulled
shit.
up,
That was
And
it. Like,
because here's the thing. So I don't know. People don't remember this. Like about 6 weeks before that game, they were talking about, Steph should start shooting from further out.
Yeah.
And they said, well, he does, but he does it in practice. Why doesn't he do it in games? And they said, because they're worried it might freak everybody out. Like not like the opponents, like his teammates wouldn't know how to react to him. So that game, he's going, and he had plenty of time on the clock. And we're like, oh shit, he's about to do it. It's like the Jason Williams elbow pass. Remember,
Yes.
it was like a rumor. You heard, he throws elbow passes. Why didn't he ever do it again? And finally, you see it happen. Like, oh my god, that's exactly what it was. But the thing about that season was they were so happy, man. And that's the one thing that they haven't had since then.
the
Why do you
joy.
think?
Katie.
No, I think.
He has to do a little bit. you know.
Okay, so the first year it was, hey, we're just trying to get everybody comfortable, do the right thing, or whatever. And then obviously they win the championship. KD wins Finals MVP, and then he's not happy, right? Because he doesn't feel like he got the acceptance and the adoration or whatever. And so that energy carries over to year two, and that's kind of it. They won, but. If you remember David West talking about, you guys don't know
the
what
post
we went
game,
through.
yeah.
Yeah, like he's talking about basically people being mad or being upset or whatever. And then you get to year three and
Specifically KD being
he gets
okay.
cussed out like on the bench. I mean, like everyone knows that guy. I feel like you work this with a guy who's excellent at their job. Excellent, right? Tremendous. You can't argue anything about the work. But when he walks in the room, you're like, oh.
So is it Jamil Hill?
Nah, Jamel's the best. No, it's that's sometimes what it is, man. And I don't like if he's not happy, he's not happy. And at some point, you also have to weigh, well, do I want to be happy or do I want to be winning, right? And so for them, I think winning definitely overweighed,
Overrode all the happy shit. Yeah.
This might be a little. I want to talk more about finals, but I've always been curious. For a living, you have hot takes about basketball,
I guess. Yeah.
right? What is the hardest part of that?
The hardest part about a hot take?
No, your job specifically.
Oh, about my
you
job?
have to have a take that people might not have heard, might not have thought of. What's the hardest part of that?
The hardest part is, I would say, obviously having the factual backup to what you're saying. You can't just throw out there, so and so, right?
You can.
I mean, you can.
I was about to say, like, you're a plugged-in guy.
Ideally, well, it's not just what I hear, but
Yeah.
also what I know. From the money standpoint, from the personality mix and all that. Like, there's a lot of stuff that goes into when I say, okay, I think this is going to happen, whatever. But the other part is, no one ever recognizes that there's so much shit that none of us control.
Yeah.
Like, so for instance, he gives me a hard time about like Warriors in 5, right?
Right.
I didn't know Clay was gonna like destroy his hamstring,
Right.
and Kevon Looney's chest would get caved in by, Kawhi Leonard and all that stuff. I didn't think Durant would come back, so I'm not gonna throw that in the equation. But like, there's things that happen that you can't predict. 2016, right? They're up 3-1. I keep telling people. Yeah, I picked the Warriors in 2016. Stop acting like they got swept. They were up 3-1. They were literally like a game away from ending this shit.
They were a possession away.
Right. So if we're gonna, sometimes people are very focused on what happened. Right. Oh, I'll give you a great example of this. Kevin Durant comes back, plays, gets hurt, right? Immediately afterward, everyone comes out and says they should have never played him, and da-da-da, and this, how do you know the calf is not? Of course, calf is attached to the Achilles, and da-da. And I went back and I said, well, let me see all the chatter before Game 5. Not a single person wrote about it. I don't know. They're trying to rush him back. Not a single person wrote about or quoted trainers as saying, well, I don't know. He doesn't, I wouldn't mess with him. He
looks 80%. He looks
no
90%.
one said,
every single report I wrote was like, every single report I saw was like, he doesn't look good. Like Jalen Rose had the whole thing where they had the 3-on-3 and he punted on the workout because it just looked fucking awful. Like, and every single report, like Steve Kerr said there, is like, he's just not ready. He's just not ready to go. So it went from he's not ready to go one day to he's playing and starting with no minutes restriction. And I was just like,
yeah, but then your point is nobody was saying that.
Nobody was really saying he shouldn't come back.
Yeah.
So
they were just asking, when's he going to come back? And the answer was he's not ready yet.
So you're in a unique situation where, like, you're familiar with the people who are wildly successful in your business, and they're not right a lot of the time. Some might say that they're not right
on purpose
most of the time. Maybe not right on purpose, or maybe they're purposely taking, the hottest or spiciest thing they can do. I've never known you to do that. I'm not necessarily saying that, like, you're the person with more integrity than everybody else I met.
You are blessed to naturally be opinionated.
Right. No, you're opinionated, but it seems like you value being correct.
Yeah.
Like, even right now, you're talking about being wrong 3 years ago, and you're like, but it looked like I was... Like, you got
even
that.
like a couple of days ago, I was telling you I read that story on Skip Bayless where he looks at his mentions. He doesn't even look at people agreeing with him or not. He just looks and sees what gives the most spikes.
Right.
What gets the most interaction.
So how do you stay away
It's
from
advanced
that?
Twitter where people can see them.
You just click your view insights. It's all there. You see what times they spike, what dimensions, all that type of shit. So,
But what keywords make people go crazy?
like whatever
really?
tweets make like spikes on the fucking interaction.
You know about this?
That's how he
I
rolls.
should.
with
I'm
it.
Indian, but I don't.
So how do you stay away from that?
I don't, because I don't. It's not alluring to me. You know what? I'll do it for things that
Money?
I'll do
money
it
that
for
could
things
come
I don't
with it?
care about. So I'll give you a great example. On Sports Nation, we were talking about RIP Sports Nation, by the way. We were talking about what's my man Tony Romo got an exemption to play in this golf tournament, right? And so they go to Mean first, and I'm like, this is ridiculous, and this dude is taking a spot away. There's a dude who does this for a living, playing golf and trying to feed his family, and he's got to make these cuts or whatever, and they're going to give his spot away just to some celebrity because he wants to play. And I will go like a good 30 to 60 seconds, just straight fire. And then Michelle looks at me and says, no, the exceptions are like in addition to whoever makes it. And I look at her and I say, well, that's why golf is a stupid ass sport. Because I clearly don't care. I don't care. I don't watch it. I don't care. And so for me, if it's a sport that I don't watch and I don't care about, it's easy to do. But we've had this conversation before, I think with me, you, and Charlamagne about the idea that anyone that you see on your TV talking about sports, all right, we're going to talk about NFL. Da-da-da-da-da. All right, we're going to talk about NBA. Da-da-da-da-da. We're going to talk about baseball. This person is not an expert in anything.
No.
They're an expert in talking. The experts are the people like, I'm a basketball guy. I talk about basketball, right? I'm a football guy. Like Ryan Clark, you listen to him when he talk about NFL. Jalen Rose, you listen to him when he talk about NBA. Michael Collins, you listen to him when he talk about golf. Whenever they start talking about things other than their main thing, that's their opinion, and that's coming more from a fan standpoint. Now, they might be a little bit more knowledgeable or whatever, depending. It depends on the person. But for the most part, if Jalen Rose is going passionate about the 3-4 defense, it's still Jalen Rose, man.
Yeah, like everybody has their
salt.
thing that I'm willing to listen to them more over. Like when Max Kellerman's talking about boxing, I listen
exactly.
to
Like Max on boxing,
yeah, exactly. When Jalen's talking basketball, I'm gonna listen. Like same shit there, but I feel like in this era of, sports talking heads and like having to have that 24/7 sports cycle, do you just feel like, all right, I just got to get some shit out just because that's the nature of the beast right now, or you just like fuck all that? I'm gonna just.
So I honestly I thought about it more from a social standpoint. When I'm on a show, I'm on a show. They give us the topics, I talk about it, I give my answers, whatever. But in my downtime, I'm like, should I be like Instagram videoing? Like, because I see other people do it. I'm like, this is corny. But then I see like 700,000 likes. I'm like, should I be doing that?
Yeah.
Like, should I be doing that more? But I don't know. I don't think I'm good at it, to be honest.
Here's the thing. There's job security in it.
In being the
in having these takes and being salacious, I mean, you look at the guys who have their own shows, and it's the guys who have the wildest things to say.
But they're entertaining. I think there's a difference between just having wild takes. Like Stephen A. Smith, to me, like
the GOAT.
You can
Entertaining.
put him on mute,
Yeah.
and you're like. So I like Lebatard show. I watch Lebatard's radio show every day, right?
Yeah.
They literally have a thing where their TVs are on and they have First Take on. And anytime, it's on mute, but if they see Stephen A. Smith like wilding out, like
Turn up the volume.
they literally will cut the show. They have a button where it just is a sound of Stephen A. Smith going, ah! And then they literally cut the show and they'll go straight to First Take.
Wow.
And as long as he's going in a rant, they'll stay there, they'll laugh about it, and then as soon as Max says anything, like, cut that shit off. They'll go back to their regular program.
Yeah.
Like, Stephen A. Smith is entertaining. You don't have to agree with him or disagree with him. You know that he's entertaining.
Same with
TV.
Skip.
Yeah.
Skip is a little different. Like, first of all, the visual cues aren't there,
That's true.
right?
What do you mean? What do you mean?
Like when I
If
look
I have,
at him,
if I have him on mute,
Oh, yeah. My feeling with Skip, I actually don't think Skip is great for his takes. I think Skip is great for recognizing talent, and I think he's great to bounce things off of. Like,
as a foil,
he is the
He's the
best
perfect-
foil.
he's the
He is
perfect foil.
perfect
Yeah.
foil. And he
What's
knows exactly.
What's the wrestling term they got for
Heel?
that?
heel.
The heel,
He's
yeah.
He's a
great
heel, and he understands what this goes back to what you're saying about entertainment. He understands. There's that term that Kaz uses all the time. Everything wrestling is everything.
Everything's
Or
wrestling,
Everything is
yeah.
wrestling,
Yeah.
right? And he really, and to Steven's credit as well, he also understands that. They understand the wrestling of talking about sports.
Yeah, everything needs
Getting
an
Shannon.
antagonist.
I mean, he
gotta-
literally
yeah.
got Shannon. Shannon Sharp as a wrestler.
Yeah.
He could go into WWE tomorrow and do the exact same thing where he posts a picture of his outfit every fucking day, does his talks, has his Black and Miles and his hen dog or whatever like
Which
that.
is weird, by the way, because he doesn't smoke and he doesn't drink.
Yeah, I'm about to say
He
like
doesn't drink?
no, not at all.
Shannon
if you
Sharp?
see him, if you
Shannon
see,
Sharp doesn't drink.
first of all, have you seen his body? He's not drinking or smoking. Pause.
My
And
man is
second of all,
fine.
yeah, like he's cut up. And third of all, if you
he
ever watch
doesn't
him, if you
drink?
ever watch him like, he's
I'm
just
not
kinda puts
surprised.
it and he doesn't
It's like
he
you know,
never
you
finishes
know who
the
else
cup.
doesn't smoke or drink, but like
that?
50.
Yeah.
I know that about 50. That
But
makes
like,
sense.
but you first of all, because he sells mad
selling
liquor,
alcohol,
But,
yeah.
but even before that, people were convinced, oh, this dude like popping bottles of like he doesn't drink. But it's all about
wrestling.
yeah, it's wrestling. It's,
You gotta put on the show, man. You gotta have somebody to go against. You gotta have some sort of conflict. There's gotta be a fucking end game over in any sort of conversation. Like it's the same fucking formula that they've used in that shit for the last 60, 70 years.
We need to do a little wrestling break. I need to watch some wrestling.
Bro, that's what I'm here for. Like, it's what I do. Like
'Cause
I
it is
could
so true.
apply that to so many things. Like just the
It's like
the
a
concept-
fundamental story for entertainment.
Exactly. Just the concept of storytelling. You just use that for sports. Like that's all pro
protagonist,
wrestling.
antagonist, the
Rising action,
what's-
climax, resolution, like everything. It's all there. But you know, there's just people as the plot points.
Yeah, we need to
and also
definitely apply
execution, right? Like that's a big part of it. Like some people do it very clunkily. Like,
Yeah.
I'm a bad guy.
Yeah.
I'm the hero. Like,
Yeah.
and some people do it nuanced, but it's all the same.
Yeah, there's layers to Skip Bayless, there's layers to Stephen A. Smith. Like if there's a good LeBron thing that's about to happen, I'm gonna go watch Undisputed because I know Shannon Sharp's I'm a LeBron guy and Shannon Sharp's gonna say what I want to hear. Or I'm a Cowboys guy. I'm gonna go watch Stephen A. Smith because the Cowboys just won. And
So
now,
think about him that broadcast they did from Dallas where he walked in
Yeah.
with,
Cowboy hat.
with the black hat. Not
Yeah.
just a cowboy hat, a black hat, right? Because he's the villain. And walking in through the crowd, he got his little
Move
stroke.
out the
Like,
way.
that's
Move
not,
out the way.
That's not like, hey, by the way, Stephen A., wear this hat. Come on, let's go. Like, no, man. Like, this stuff is
all curated.
So
man.
has there ever been a part of you that wanted to add that to your
I
game?
think I do some of
does
that.
it.
I do some of that. Like, you know, I'm trying to think like
What's your pin tweet on Twitter? Your
your tears on my PEDs. I mean, it was just like there's like people don't understand like, and I think we definitely everyone in this room understands it. Sometimes you just say shit because you know it's gonna piss somebody
You gotta
off.
get a reaction.
Yeah, for sure.
Not even
You gotta
just
get a
like,
reaction. That's another thing with wrestling.
Oh my God.
Another
Yo.
thing with wrestling, bro.
don't.
Like, yo.
By the way, man, this dude right here, you had one of the funniest shits ever. So you all saw the video of him getting heckled by the guy in the wheelchair.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I was watching that last night.
Yeah, so
Fucking
it's like the
dying.
whole back and forth is funny, and Schultz does the Schultz things or whatever. But he had one line, like I fucking lost it. I dropped my phone because like there's a little lull. He sits down, he takes a sip of water. So how'd it happen? And nobody in the crowd picked up on it. I'm like, yo, that's so fucking wild, man, to say that shit, man. But that's exactly what we're talking about, right?
Yeah,
because someone in America saw that video, was like, oh my God, that Andrew Schulz. He's disgusting. I don't know what you find so funny about him. Like, someone's saying that, man.
You gotta pop the crowd somehow, man.
Dude,
like,
it's funny that
a boo. And same thing with Mayweather. You talk about all the time. Boos and cheers. They're all paying the same fucking admission to get in.
Somebody
just gotta get as much as they can.
Somebody just said something. People pay for boos and cheers. Who was it that said that? Chael Sonnen, who I think really understands the wrestling of MMA. He gets it, right? He gets the story.
I would say he's cut it, like, since he became media, he's become like a regular dude. I'm like, no, man, like, do more of that shit. Because when he was in the MMA,
Sell it.
He was the biggest shit talker, man.
Yeah.
Well, he was whooping ass too. He gave Anderson Silva like his best fight up until Anderson Silva finally lost.
Yo, by the way, how the fuck does John Jones keep getting cleared to fight? Like, why are we still doing this?
Wait, what do you mean? What happened?
He's fighting again, and I'm just like, so, like, this is
fights in a few weeks, right?
Why, he failed another test?
I'm just saying, like, the last 19,000 fights he's had, he goes, he fights, he looks incredible. Everyone's like, oh my God, what an athlete! Like,
Then he failed the drug test.
right after it.
Wait, he failed this last one too?
No. But we all know it's gonna happen.
Right.
Every single time.
But I'm just like, at some point, like, don't they have like a 3 strikes rule? And they're like,
Yo, because low key, I think the UFC knows the pressure is on them. There are these other organizations coming up. Bellator's coming up. One or whatever that is.
Bare knuckle boxing could be a thing.
Shit, all these
why
things.
isn't it a thing?
It's, you know what it is? It's too brutal.
Yeah.
It is too fucking brutal. I was talking to Brendan Shaw about this. Shouts to Brendan. And when you have gloves on, okay, the thing with bare knuckle boxing is you actually don't get hurt as much.
Because it's over quick, right?
No, because you're punching somebody with your bare fist,
So
so
you
you
can't
actually
punch as
pull
hard.
back a little bit.
Oh, wow.
It's a natural motion. It's like if somebody's on the ground and you're like just punching them,
Right.
part of your hand hits that cement once and you go, oh shit, I'm going to start punching like that. I'm not going to go straight down, right? So, but what happens is since you're using bare knuckles, there's all these superficial wounds. So the guys start leaking.
Gushing,
Gushing. And when we see that, we're like, oh, that's a little much.
Right.
Boxing, which is way more dangerous than even MMA because it's repetitive punishment.
It's concussions. It's like,
It's football.
It's football.
It's
yeah.
football. But that big old glove, it's rare you get cut. Maybe you do, and usually it's headbutt or some other thing that happens. It's boxing is swollen. It's not as bloody, and we know the bloody fights. And this bare knuckle boxing is just too brutal, man. It's chicken fighting or whatever.
It feels like human cockfighting to me. That's why I
is.
can't really get into it. It's like
I watch them on YouTube though.
there's at least like, and I kind of felt like that about UFC for a while.
Can you watch cockfighting on there?
So we need to pull that up because
I'm sure you
these
can.
Dominicans be doing that shit, bro. I was up in Washington Heights and my boy Rob was showing me around. We did a dropping in up there, and he drove me by this spot. I'm not going to shout it out now, but he drove me by this spot, and he's like, I'm not going to shout it out.
Heading out here trying to protect his family. Don't.
Gotta get to my Dominicans.
So he drove me by this spot, and he was like, oh, yeah, that's where the chicken fights go. And it's a regular business thing in the back. And we put it in the dropping in episode. All of a sudden, we got mad comments, mad DMs. Rob was getting DMs like, yo, they snitching on the spot. They're really doing chicken fights out there, man.
Wow.
I mean, it's chickens. I don't give a fuck. It's
Yo,
chickens.
I think I even said that. It's like we fucking fry
Eat
them.
them motherfuckers,
What's the biggest
bro.
deal if they
Like-
kill each other before we do it?
Yeah.
Them chickens be scary looking. You ever
Some
seen
bad
them, man?
bitches,
Like,
bro.
them big ass feathers and shit. Like,
And you know, it's women
Peacocks.
we make fight.
Oh, that's what's up.
Chickens are women.
for real?
That's
Those
equality.
aren't
bro.
roosters?
That's kind of hot,
Nah,
dog.
that's chicken fight.
Yeah, you're talking about
the hens are
cockfights.
male chicken,
What?
right?
Cockfights.
Cockfight.
Cockfights.
It's a-
Yeah.
so
Those
it's a
aren't
rooster.
chicken. Those are roosters.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, man.
Those are male.
Yo, there was
You're
a,
trying.
Because also the
I
like the
fucked that up.
testosterone, right? Don't they?
Yeah.
I was going. There was this bar in my neighborhood. It was on Bowery, and we were walking down. We were just looking for a place to go grab a drink, and I was like, "Why don't we go to that spot?" And it just had a big picture of a chicken outside.
Son, my friend has done this exact same thing.
I go, yo, let's go to that bar with the chicken on it, whatever like that. And we walked up, and there was a bouncer, and the bouncer turns around to ID someone, and he's wearing assless chaps. And my boy looks at me, and goes, "Fam, I think that's a cock."
My boy's like, I got a good feeling about this place. He mad drunk. He's like, we got to go in here. Let's go. Let's fucking go. And then you go in, it's just dudes fucking making out. I stayed.
Oh gosh. Now, before we went on the air, we were talking about everything going on in Sudan, and I'm not terribly informed on it, but you've seen a lot of people changing their avatars on Twitter and Instagram to show some sort of support. If you could kind of bring that up a little bit and just kind of get people hip to, because I know you're Sudanese and.
Yeah, it's crazy because
I was going to ask about the Rockets, but whatever.
We'll get back to it. God damn it, it's a long show. Sorry for the switching topic, but yeah.
On a very serious episode.
On a serious.
All right, go.
But anyway, so first of all, I hear a lot of times when things happen, people say, social media, whatever, don't matter. Mm-hmm. It absolutely matters. It matters because it makes people like you ask people like me, what is this about? Mm-hmm. And for me to explain it. So Sudan is a country that was run by this brutal dictator who's wanted for war crimes, ran the country for 30 years. I talked about this before with you guys on Brilliant Idiots. I was in the country when that dude took over. Yeah. I lived in the early days of them basically being awful.
Wild shit.
Wild shit. Like I lived across the street from
CIA black spot or whatever.
Ghost House.
Jeez.
Ghost House is where they torture people. Jeez. You hear them at night. Because we sleep outside in the courtyard. You hear the screams of people outside.
You ever woken up to a rooster?
Yes, one time.
It's like that.
But with torture.
Yeah.
And in the middle of the night, yeah. Also, there were roosters, so you would also wake up to the rooster. But anyway,
damn, you're not sleeping at all.
You're
sleeping more than them motherfuckers in the Black House.
Yeah, you're right.
So the country started kind of peaceful protests, and it was sparked by things like rising prices of bread and stuff like that. But the conditions in the country had been bad for a while. So in December, protests started, and it was led by mostly young professionals. And in April, finally, the dude stepped down. And everyone was happy. And it's like, all right, we're going to have this transitional government that's going to take it from army rule to the people. The problem is the guy who took over in his stead was basically his enforcer. Mm-hmm.
His meaning the old
Bashir. Bashir was the war criminal
so
in
the old
charge.
war criminal's enforcer takes over. Now he's the new dictator.
So if you've ever heard of Darfur in the news, if you've ever heard of Janjaweed, right, which are these guys that run around on horseback, raping, pillaging, etc.
Dothraki.
Basically, pretty much, yeah. Without all the glamour and the eyeshadow and all whatever mascara. That's what was happening in Darfur. They were led by this guy who's in charge now. His name is Hemeti.
Okay.
And so what was supposed to be a peaceful transition turned into not so fast. And then basically it was probably 2 weeks ago now, or maybe 2.5 weeks ago, they opened fire, live ammunition on these peaceful protesters because the protests continued. And I'm talking AK-47 sprays into crowds. I'm talking, again, raping, assaulting people, beating people, going to hospitals, stopping medical professionals from doing their duties, trying to save people's lives or administer kind of medicine or whatever. And so all this is happening, and nobody really cares, right? Part of it is because Sudan is just some place that a lot of people don't even know where that is on the map. Part of it is because there are forces at work that are bankrolling this dude.
Right.
And when I say forces at work, mainly the Saudis and the United Arab Emirates, because Sudan, and this guy in particular, has been providing them with soldiers, some of whom are child soldiers, to fight their proxy war in Yemen. And all the awful stuff that's happening in Yemen. And so, and we know that the Saudis and the Emirates, definitely the
Emiratis, yeah.
They don't have, we don't look at them as the enemy. It's not like Iran, right?
Yeah.
If Iran was bankrolling this dude,
bye.
And immediately this thing, what's a big fuss?
Humanitarian crisis.
Yeah, but because it's being bankrolled by quote unquote friends, you let them do what they do. Yeah, and then there's the other part of it where Sudan is like a part of the main thoroughfare that refugees take to go up to Europe. A lot of the European nations have been paying Sudan to make sure those refugees never leave Sudan. Right. And so, and there's video of the dude Hemeti basically claiming it, hey, we're friends. These are our friends. We're doing them a favor. So it's a tough situation. And I posted an video on Instagram. I posted a video on Twitter, and it got shared. And I see a lot of people I know, a lot of people I don't know, tweeting about it, changing the color of the avatar and all that. Mm-hmm. But the worst part for me is that I don't know what to do. I don't know. It's not like Contras or whatever, where it's an army and we can go arm them, we can buy guns and get, because it's a peaceful protest, and the people, it shows how great and how brave they are. They basically say, no, we're not going to pick up guns and fire back. They want us to do that. We're not going to do that. So instead, we're
just sitting there taking it.
Sacrificing.
Just taking it. So,
you mentioned before the podcast the idea of like political capital.
Yeah.
And that's usually when countries help.
Yeah.
And this shitty situation in Sudan is that it's not to any major country's advantage to help. For example, the European countries, if they help, then all of a sudden there's this flow of Sudanese refugees into Europe, which they're trying to halt, right? If America helps, then we're fucking over one of our allies, which is Saudi Arabia or the Emiratis. So it's like, who steps in? Anybody who steps in a way, could potentially hurt themselves.
It's fucking Aussies. That's your hope.
Right? It's like you got to go to like an island, and are the Aussies going to do something that fuck over the Americans potentially, or Europeans?
There's a couple of things. I think, first of all, I think that's what the power of social media does, is allows people to get more informed about it. And as they get more informed, most of these countries we're talking about are not the Arab countries, but the ones in the West are democracies, right? Yes. And that's why you write to your
shame.
Yeah,
shame
pretty
is
much
one of the most powerful tools, and PR for countries. Like certain countries care how they're perceived.
Yeah.
I mean, like one could argue that India gains its independence via
shame. No, absolutely, and it's the same thing.
Got rights.
And it's the same thing.
Exactly. Those
Gandhi
videos
said, "We're not going to fight. We're going to peacefully protest." And they basically shamed the British into.
And so maybe you shame the countries. Maybe the awareness shames the countries that are allowing this to happen and supporting this happening. Maybe the shame goes to Dubai, and then all of a sudden these Instagram hoes that go there to get peed on, they start taking.
We gotta find somewhere new for them to go. Yeah. Somewhere new to get peed on.
Maybe that's their protest. It's don't put up the blue icon. Stop getting shit on by a sheikh. Stop getting pissed on. Stop getting shecked on. Real talk. We find another place for you to get shit on by rich guys, but that should be your sacrifice. If you're an Instagram hoe, if you're like a Fashion Nova model or one of these like bottle waitresses.
What is Fashion Nova, by the way? I see it all the time, and like I've never
something that doesn't exist in Saudi Arabia.
Fashion Nova is like the fucking Forever, like the Walmart Forever 21,
right? But
for like all the hoes.
But how do they? So they just send out merch.
Yeah,
to
they
all
don't
these
need.
people?
They don't need to do any advertising. They just send out clothes to like Instagram.
Son, they tried to send me clothes.
It's like Rainbow, but online.
Yeah,
Rainbow is like
literally tried to send me shit. I did a video about Fashion Nova. And people thought it was funny. I was just asking what it was, and I was shitting all over it. And their social media people are like, "Hey, we saw you post about Fashion Nova. We'd love to do a collaboration with you."
Oh, they cut checks. They cut stupid checks.
Ain't cut me no check.
Let's get this Fashion Nova.
I was like, "What's up?"
You over there asleep.
I need it.
Yo, once Fashion Nova came out the men's line, I was like, "Yo, sign me up, bro."
Yeah, I just looked at Cass and I realized like the baby crib, the whole nursery, all Fashion Nova.
Fashion Nova
baby, yo.
That ass.
Nah, you don't want your baby dressed like that, son.
First off,
I'll step in. Fuck that.
Real talk.
Baby wearing no fucking Fashion Nova.
If my daughter grows up to be a Fashion Nova model,
You failed.
As long as it's not clear heels, bro.
You failed.
As long as she's off the pole. Man.
That's right below the pole.
That's
one step away.
That's translucent heels.
Yeah,
you right
it's
there.
close. It's there.
What's funny about Fashion Nova? I used to live in Burbank in LA. In fact, I remember that this little rinky dink ass store at the Burbank
It was
Mall.
a brick and mortar.
And then somehow it just got popping as fuck on social media. Couldn't believe it.
Shout out to Love and Hip Hop, I guess.
Yo, someone did that shit. Yo, you got to run.
I got to break out. I got to head to slam.
Yeah.
Are you
do your
coming?
thing?
I'm coming as soon as we're done here. I'll see you down there.
See you, dog.
My man. Be
One
good.
last basketball question. ESPN posted this article about the turmoil in the Rockets.
Right.
Have you heard about this? Basically, James Harden and Chris Paul do not get along.
Shocking.
Yeah, which we called as soon as the trade happened.
Let me ask you a question. You know, go.
And the owner is really adamant about the fact that he's not cheap, but a lot of moves suggest that he's cheap as fuck and really defensive about how cheap he is. They gutted their assistant coaches. They don't want to give D'Antoni an extension, even though I'm not sure he deserves one.
I don't have a small dick.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Yeah. And then...
You think I buy these Swedish penis pumps for no reason?
Yeah. And then they are trying to stay under the luxury tax, which he said, I've never demanded we go under the luxury tax, but they dumped good players that could have been helpful in the playoffs at the trade deadline.
No, So the question is what?
What is your take on it? Well, do you know anything we don't know?
No, so it's one of those. Sometimes it's things that we know, but people. This is okay. You asked me earlier what the hardest part of my job is. Yeah. Sometimes it's knowing when no one else knows this stuff. Because sometimes I just assume everybody knew it, right? So Donald Sterling, for instance, when Donald Sterling's tape came out, I swear to God, my reaction like,
y'all didn't know?
No, not even that y'all didn't know. It was like, that Donald T, he's at it again.
Yeah.
And then I see people like, this is Donald. I'm like, guys. That's how he is. Don't worry about it. Because I'm thinking to myself, he's done a million more racist things, and nothing's come of it.
Yes.
You think a tape talking to a hoe about like some? Oh, excuse me, to B. Stiviano.
This is Patreon.
She's not a hoe. She's the hoe.
The hoe. Right? You think that's gonna bring him down? Really? Right. And sure enough, it did because I underestimated.
That was his Sudan
people's knowledge of
Avatar.
Yeah, there you go.
So you have to know.
My God.
Shit took him down, bro.
You have to know
change.
the balance. So you have to know the balance about what the people know and what you know. You can't be too locked into your vacuum.
Yeah.
You're in an informed place in the league.
Right.
And you have to know how uninformed people are so you can deliver that information.
So one of those things is I thought everybody knew that Chris Paul's an asshole.
Right.
Like, again, same thing we talked about earlier. You can be excellent at your job. I think he's one of the 5 best point guards ever. Like, he's brilliant.
Yep.
But he's also really irritating, right? And everyone around them, like, grows to hate their life while he's there, at least from a professional standpoint, right? So this idea that he's grading on, like, I'm reading this and I'm like, well, yes.
Right.
But then I see the reaction of like, oh my God, all this turmoil. I'm like, how did y'all not know?
So the more damning thing to me, and that's kind of how I felt, more damning thing to me was the owner being so stingy, and it makes sense when you step back.
So as they were doing things, I'm like, this cheap bastard, these cheap, right, whatever.
Yeah.
When they lost, he got up and started yapping. I was like, oh, here we go. So that's the one thing. Whenever you have a new owner, 99 times out of 100, they're gonna do too much,
right?
Because they want to show, man. I ain't about whatever this, that, is, you know. And so he's trying to show like I'm ready to do whatever. And usually that fails. It backfires on everybody. It backfired on Lacob when they made a big deal and talked about we're going to make the playoffs, and then they tanked that first year or whatever.
Who's this?
Lacob is owner of the Warriors.
Okay.
He got booed when they retired Chris Paul's jersey, right? Because at that time, they talked so much shit and they didn't do anything, right?
Yeah.
Or sometimes you're just goofy like Steve Ballmer, who owns the Clippers.
Yeah.
Like he didn't do anything detrimental other than give a whole lot of power to like Doc Rivers to do whatever he wanted.
Right.
But other than that, like he's just a wacky dude on the sideline. After a while, you start to mellow out and you figure out. Even Mark Cuban was doing way too much, and then he realized I got to take a step back, and that's where things start to happen. So maybe he'll take a step back, or maybe he's Jim Dolan, Robert Sarver. You know the
so
other.
So what happens with the Rockets? You think in this offseason?
Well, see, what happened in Game 5 and Game 6 really sets the table, like where people thought even if Durant left, like the Warriors are still really tough to beat. We got to have wholesale change. I think people are looking at it like, wait a second, not so fast. Maybe this door is open. Maybe we're not that far off. But you still have to manage the deteriorating relationship between those two guys, especially now that it's public. Even though I thought everyone already knew.
Did you see the clip from the press conference? Which nobody made a big deal about it, but there's a clip from a press conference. James Harden and Chris Paul. It was a video link. James Harden and Chris Paul doing a press conference together after a win, I think, against Utah. Bunch of questions going to Harden, like the first 4 or 5 questions. Paul's sitting next to Harden. Harden right here on the right hand side. Paul looks over at the media relations guy, looks at Harden, and he just goes, "I'm out of here," and then gets up, pats Harden on the shoulder, and walks off the interview because nobody's asking him a question. And Harden is like, yeah, okay, and then answers the question. And so it's like you're seeing this is Chris Paul. This is
like some of it is like that's not necessarily directed at Harden. That's
it's
just,
not,
that's
but it's
just
like
him being a dick.
Why can't you just shut the fuck up,
because he's
man?
a dick. No,
Andrew blowing up right now. I don't ever when he's talking about his career be like, all right, man, why don't you tell me when this shit is over? You know what I mean? Like, everybody wants to look at Andrew's YouTube. That sort of guy's not passive aggressive. That's my guy. That's like, I'm happy. I want you to keep going. I want this to happen. But if I was like, we still talking about this shit, and then I got up.
But part of it is also you can be a dick.
I won't even take a bathroom break at that moment.
You could be a dick in a vacuum, right? Like, which feels really good. You could be a dick in a vacuum in the sense that, fuck, why am I sitting here if no questions are coming my way?
Yeah.
I could be doing some other shit, right? Not necessarily about Harden. It's just about I'm here.
There's
No
still
one
a different way to handle it.
Of course, but
I'm gonna go watch game film. Hey, this guy had a great game. I'm gonna just go. You got this, buddy. Even that would
or
be.
you could sit the extra 3 minutes and just shut the fuck up.
Exactly.
Right, like, but again, and I wouldn't say that's specific to Chris Paul. There are a lot of players that are just like, they're dicks, man. Like, part of it is thinking that the shit all revolves around you, and when it doesn't, you're like, why am I wasting my time? I get it. Like, that's part of it. But obviously, some of the quotes in there where you talk about Chris trying to coach him, and Harden's like, I'm the motherfucking MVP. Who are you trying to coach? But I see why, because Chris is fucking brilliant. He's smart, but it's not enough. You got to be able to
Is he
communicate.
smarter than James Harden?
I would say he's a smarter basketball player than James Harden. And that's not
Is
saying
he?
Harden's smart, but like Chris Paul's like savant level, but he's savant level who tells you I'm a savant. But that's a big difference. Like, if
How
you're just
much
Rain Man, anyone can
smarter?
take Rain Man's fucking advice.
How much smarter, really? Like, I'm trying to put it together. Like, what is he doing that James can't do? Is there anything Paul can do that
It's
James
just
can't do?
like awareness of things, awareness of foul situation, clock situations, like a million different things. And so sometimes he's like, all right, so we got him, and then we're on the punt, and like, shut the fuck up, I'm the MVP, just give me the ball, get the fuck out of the way. Right. That's some of it is like that. But I can see why Chris, and that's why like I wonder what he's gonna do when he's done playing, because
That's what I'm wondering.
like Larry Brown was like Chris Paul. That's how I could best. Larry Brown is
Makes sense.
might be the most brilliant basketball mind ever, right?
Really?
Like Larry Brown, they said Larry Brown would walk into the video room like at 10 o'clock and see like the video guy running tape of Lehigh versus Navy. And I said, huh. And then that night he would draw up the the out of bounds play from that game that he watched. He didn't watch it twice or rewind or pause that. He just sat there, watched it, said, okay. And then that night during the game, he's like, all right, guys, this is what we're going to do. He's like that, right? And so that's why that Pistons team that he coached was the only one where Larry Brown was like kind of because it was all super high IQ guys, like Rasheed Wallace,
Chauncey.
just brilliant guys. He's like, they're all savants. So like when he says, guys, we're going to do this, they're like,
They got it.
they got it and they go out there and do it, right?
Oh,
As opposed to
shit.
what usually happens with smart coaches or maybe too smart coaches is, all right, do this, and you got a bunch of dumb motherfuckers like, and then they come back and they're like, how you guys not, run the play or execute or whatever. Man, I never told you the story about Rasheed Wallace. We're playing the Pistons. We draw up a play. We come out there, and one of our players in the wrong spot.
we?
With the Suns. This is when I'm working with the Suns. And so, guy's in the wrong spot, and coach is like, hey, on the other side. And the guy's like, this side? No, on the other side. Like, that side? Like, no. And then finally, Rasheed was like, look, he wants you to go over here. You're going to set a screen for Steve. Steve's going to come up. He's going to grab the ball. You're going to go set a down screen over there. The other guy's going to pick a roll. You're going to dive. Like, he broke down the entire play from all 5 positions. And we're just like, yeah, what Rasheed said. Because what are you going to do? It's not, he wasn't showing off. He was just someone who's a genius who is bored with watching stupid motherfuckers.
Right.
Like, beat around in the
Who's got the highest basketball IQ in the league right now?
Probably, LeBron.
It's insane, or what?
Oh, LeBron remembers he remembers details that no one should remember of meaningless games. Oh, it was a February game in the third quarter with 2:15 left on the clock.
Right. I understand he has impeccable memory.
Right.
But decision making as well.
Yes. Yeah.
Better than a Chris Paul.
Better than Chris Paul. LeBron, like one of my favorite LeBron IQ stories was when they were playing the Raptors in the playoffs a couple years ago. Remember this? And dude was about to inbound. It was Terrence Ross, and he stopped him from inbounding. He said, wait. Why? Y'all got 6 guys on the floor. You're going to get teed up if you inbound this ball. Wait for your guy to get off. He literally stopped the dude from getting a technical
This
foul.
is a regular season game?
This is a playoff game.
Why?
Because, like, this LeBron, he's a fucking genius, man. Like,
But why would he?
yeah.
Why would he hurt his team?
the Raptors. Like, that's the thing. It was like...
He just knew they were going to beat him.
Like, yeah. It was like, I don't need this measly point to beat y'all, right?
That is, to me, the difference between him and Jordan, though, whereas Jordan
would let
never
you get the
fucking
tag.
do
Yeah.
that.
He'd let you inbound the ball and he'd point
And
at
then
the
he'd
guy.
point and say there's 6.
Yeah, I mean, but like to me, like there's something higher at work there. It's just like where I'm just so fucking smart about this shit. Like there's no outcome where you guys are gonna beat me. So like fucking keep your point. I'll beat you with it. Like
Do you think that they have a shot next year?
who? The Lakers or
Yeah.
the Raptors?
Lakers and Raptors.
Well, Lakers is gonna be interesting on how they spend the rest of their money.
Okay, you're a GM.
Yeah.
Or a president.
whatever the fuck you want to call it. What team do you build around LeBron and Anthony Davis?
I think
Who do you go
unless, and I'm just
throw it out.
the hypothetical. You've got to knock on the door. Like, is Jimmy Butler, is Kawhi Leonard available? Right.
No, let's say Kawhi's not.
Kawhi's not available, and Jimmy wants a 4-year deal. I don't want to give him 4 years. If that stuff isn't
Kawhi,
there,
Jimmy not in the play.
okay, then you got to take that money and you got to spend it on guys.
Okay.
Not a guy, right?
That's what we were saying.
You go 2 stars and then you get solid ass smart role players.
Who do you go
get
with?
Seth Curry. You get Bojan Bogdanovic. You get
I like this Bogdanovic.
Garrett Temple. You get like guys like, because that's ultimately your stars carry you, but you see like look at that Raptors team.
Yep, Van Fleet.
Right?
Yep.
Like they didn't need a second superstar. They just needed someone. I know what the fuck to do. I'm not gonna panic. I'm gonna make the plays.
Go back to what we were saying. Game IQ.
Yep, absolutely.
There was a distinct difference when Norman Powell was in the game versus Fred Van Fleet.
Yep.
Van Fleet was not making stupid moves, not turning the ball over. And to be honest, I thought that the finals really exposed Kyle's IQ. Kyle made me feel fucking safe. When he was there, the ship was going where it needed to go.
Yeah.
Maybe he wasn't going to be this elite scorer, but he was going to
That's-
get people the ball.
That's the funny thing about Kyle. Kyle gets a bad rap because he has poor shooting nights and poor scoring nights. But if you look at every other part of his game,
Always
he's
on point.
incredibly solid. He's
Yep.
incredibly smart defensively, getting people involved, intangibles, all the stuff we're talking about. Like what makes Chris Paul smart? What makes he's smart like that. Maybe not to that level, but
it's up there.
It's definitely up there, right? And so
Lakers. So you go.
you gotta get smart guys, man, because
Okay.
they
Because
did the
LeBron don't
opposite.
tolerate that shit. They got a bunch of knuckleheads.
Last year they had a bunch of knuckleheads. Like you gotta go out and get the high IQ and then shooting.
Who are your shooters? Do you sign JJ?
I'd look into it, yeah. Maybe not anything longer than a year, but
Just 1 year. Give him
Yeah.
big money for a year.
I'd look absolutely. I mean, the idea is that Seth Curry would be like a younger JJ Redick,
Right.
But yeah, like
What
shit.
about a Middleton?
He's going to be looking for a max deal, and what's happening now is there's more teams with money than there are guys
So you're gonna have
Who
that
deserve the
overpay.
money.
So Chris Middleton, Tobias Harris, guys like that are like, I don't have to take a dime less than max because there's gonna be someone with max money, so I got to sign somebody.
And this is to me where ownership fucks up is when you have cap space and you're like, well, I got to pay Tobias Harris a max because if I don't, someone else will. Just sit with the money.
Right.
Just fucking sit tight.
But then,
Right.
But then they call you a cheap owner.
Sure, fair.
It's
I can fill the money out with cheap contracts. This is the plan. Philadelphia was pretty transparent about the process.
Yeah.
And a lot of fans were like, all right, cool.
Yeah. But it did fail.
Yeah, I mean, sure. But
mean-
they also rushed it at a certain point.
I mean,
They didn't rush it, bro. They're tanking for like 6 years straight.
They were like the whole idea is, and this is what I said. A lot of my friends were like, "Oh, Sam Hinkie's a genius." I'm like, "Yeah, whoever's the next GM is really gonna thank him."
Yeah.
because you can't. At some point, you can't just do shit saying like one day will be good. Like you have to give people a timeline, and he never gave them a timeline. It was just like one of these is gonna hit. The irony, of course, is it started hitting immediately after he left.
got fired,
but
yeah.
he got fired because nothing was hitting.
We
man.
need results. This is a result.
Yeah,
business.
man. Like it's nice, or at least a plan other than just wait for it, right? Because that was his thing. Just wait for it. Just wait for it.
So Seth Curry, huh?
Well, that's a name I'm pulling out the top.
You
of my
just
head.
want guys who can shoot.
We said
guys
Trevor
who can shoot.
Ariza.
Guys are smart. Trevor
about-
Ariza, to me, he's a minimum player. You tell me Trevor Ariza for minimum, absolutely. You tell me I'm spending like my cap space on Trevor Ariza? Nah, man. That's old.
I was thinking mid-level. I was also
No.
thinking a cheap player, vet minimum would be Wes Matthews I would go after.
Yeah, can he
he's
still
fucked up,
move?
yeah.
I mean, like
I
Off
can't
the bench.
invest in that. I can't invest in
like
that.
again, if you're talking about
I like
minimum,
Ariza.
and he's like the ninth or
Ninth,
tenth
that's
guy,
exactly what I was thinking. Ninth
maybe
guy,
because he's a
eighth
good
worst.
dude and
Yeah.
be in the locker room and like he won't put up with shenanigans and like you need guys like that.
No, I'm
right?
talking about your core. I'm talking
Yeah,
about the
you-
guys that are going to play in the playoffs.
Yeah, I think
I'm talking where are you going to get that 3-point shooting from? Because you're going to have a lot of gravity on
Yep.
LeBron and
Anthony
Davis.
Davis.
So who's going to take advantage of that gravity? You need a guy to run the show, or is LeBron running the show?
LeBron's running the show,
So
but you need
now
a
you need
guy,
guards that can shoot.
You need a guy, but you also need a guy that can take the pressure off LeBron.
What if you had the chance to get Kemba?
See, to me, it's the same thing. It's like Kemba is going to cost you all that money. All like what you see. You could say we'll get Kemba. All the names we just talked about now.
Forget it, you out.
Forget about it. Now you got to go straight minimums. So now Trevor Ariza, Wes Matthews, instead of being 8, 9, 10, they're 4 or 5.
Right.
Right. Like they're starters.
I think if I had the choice between 3 max guys, even if they were Bosh, Wade, and LeBron, or 2 of those max guys and a bunch of solid players, I think I'd rather go with the 2 max guys.
Yeah.
Your depth is just stretched so thin with 3 max guys.
Yeah, and the depth is stretched thin, and also the 3rd max guy is going to be asked to do some shit that
they don't want to do.
Yeah, like ultimately it happens every single
They're
time.
gonna have to sacrifice.
Yeah, someone's gonna have to sacrifice. Like
Bosh, Love,
yeah,
Clay,
I guess. Although Durant felt like he was the one that was sacrificing.
So Durant's a fucking egomaniac.
Nah, I don't think he's an egomaniac.
insecure, incredibly insecure.
I would say, I don't feel like I'm psychoanalyzing when the dude tells you he responds to people, 16-year-olds on DMs
on Twitter. Yeah,
like yes, he's insecure. Like you have to be insecure to care enough about what a kid thinks about you.
Well, you have to be insecure to be going there and seeing what they're saying about you in the first place. You're going there to fill the void.
Yes,
you have a void. You thought that void was going to be filled when you won a championship, and it wasn't.
What do y'all think? Like, what do you buy about his thing about like I have a voice, I should be allowed to use a voice?
No, you're insecure. It's the same reason why we go into same reason why in a moment of anxiety or insecurity or stress, you go and pop on Instagram and see if you get some likes or see if you get some comments. Say what? You just do it for them hoes?
I'm like, okay, Fashion Nova.
But real talk, what do the hoes do?
Yeah,
fill the void too.
Yeah,
so it's
it's because I've had this conversation with you. I started Instagram late, like 6 months ago, something like that.
Good for you.
It's so weird, dude. It's so weird because a lot of it is just volume shooting, I guess. Like volume shooting of just shit. Like I'm like
my favorite thing though, Twitter, feminism, feminist.
Oh
feminist.
Yeah.
Instagram, hoes.
Oh
hoes,
yeah.
Hoes. And what's winning right now? Instagram.
Yeah.
Well,
Give us the hoes, dog.
Twitter, because Twitter is about, and I understand even as I
feminists
use it.
are on Instagram, just no one gives a fuck. It is a
that?
video and picture platform.
It's crazy how
the last thing I want to see is your short hair.
No, hold on. Is it that, or is it they going with the flow?
You think they're hoeing?
I'm not gonna say hoeing. I'm just gonna say
these are like proud to be fat bitches. I'm
talking about. I've seen like the Twitter activist on the side,
right?
And then it's like after dark. Go to Instagram.
Interesting.
Like, wow.
You down to name a name?
Damn no. Damn no, sir.
Well, look. At the end of the day, you're not posting shit for other people. You're posting shit for yourself, right? This is a way you validate yourself.
Is that why people do it?
You're posting shit
if you
other
weren't
people like
posting
to
for
validate yourself.
They wouldn't put the amount of retweets and the amount of likes it got on there. If you weren't posting shit for yourself, you wouldn't get a notification every time someone retweeted and liked it.
You don't think people post just because, hey man, that was a funny thought or whatever? Like,
but okay, you had a funny thought. Why can't it just be funny to you? Let's be Buddhist about it.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah,
right. It's funny because you want to get them laughs.
If there were no numbers of likes, retweets, whatever, nobody would post.
Or if it were private, right?
Yo,
or isn't it just that fact of knowing
it away? They just posted they were going to take it away, and people started freaking the fuck out.
So wait, so you're saying that if you made it private, so people can't tell how many likes a post got, right? But you can tell as the person who posted it. Would that still accomplish?
Ooh, interesting.
So the Instagram hoes and shit would be upset because their whole marketing perspective is based on those likes.
Beyond the people who are making money because it's generating like the.
I think that they would be more worried if they themselves couldn't see them, but then they would just make a fake account so they could look at their own likes. But at the end of the day, they need the likes. They need the. It's the same reason why sexual harassment became a big deal, like street harassment became a big deal once Instagram came out. Prior to Instagram, girls liked that feedback.
Wow.
Now
really? I've never heard that. For real, that's a connection you're making? You're talking about. Hold on.
Kidding me?
You're telling me. Hold on. You're telling me that once people started getting likes on Instagram, the construction worker catcall became such a primitive way of expressing.
Son, the second they got Instagram, they started wearing fucking yoga pants everywhere. They didn't even dress up anymore. These girls wear sweatpants everywhere now because they wear their hot shit on the Instagram. They get a picture, they get sexually harassed with it.
I like yoga pants.
No, I'm not against the yoga pants. I'm saying the effort went down because they had a safe space. Everybody wants to be desired, right?
Right.
Everybody wants some attention.
Sure.
They have a safe space for their attention, right? You can't hurt me, which is a real thing. They got to
Oh,
go
yeah,
through.
yeah.
They could be harmed. They could be followed. They could have all this shit.
Because it's detached. You can't.
You can't follow me home. You can't do this, but you could still tell me I'm a bad bitch.
Right.
You can still tell me I'm sexy as fuck, and now you're not dressed in construction outfit. You and your best shit
Yo,
too.
by the way, the people who leave like the thirsty comments underneath, it's always interesting because it's like your name's on it, and sometimes I think like I like who the fuck would say this to someone, and like it's probably a fake account. Dude got pictures with his kids and stuff. I'm like, what are you doing, man?
Dude,
Like,
that's funny because what if like back in the day, as a girl was walking by the construction site, a guy was like, "Damn, that's a fat ass." At Frank Grillo, just start screaming out their socials.
damn, that's a fat ass. Like, hey kids, want to get ice cream?
Yeah.
Hey, your mom's here.
That's how
Like,
you sexually harass.
like everything is just there. It's right there. So I don't know.
My buddy, not my buddy. I don't know even why I said that, buddy. But there was a guy. There was a guy who goes. His girl was giving him shit about it, and he goes. She goes, yeah, you're on social media commenting on these girls' posts, and he goes, it's called social media. he goes. I'm being social. That's the name. That's what we're
I
here
envy
for.
the dudes who always have a line back when they're being creeps.
Oh my
And they're
God,
just
that
like,
was
what?
beautiful.
Like, make them look dumb?
That was beautiful.
I don't know how. It's a fucking. It's a superpower.
Why are you commenting about all these side chicks on the street? It's called a sidewalk. I'm supposed to comment on side chick.
You know the shit that I honestly don't like more than anything is the obviously staged videos
Oh, go. What do you mean?
on fucking Instagram. Like where you see like there's the one dude, he's an Indian looking dude. He'd be on the subway and then like a big blackface slaps the shit out of him. And everyone on the subway, obviously they're on the subway on a commute, see the dude get slapped and like, what the fuck? And then he runs off. It's the same dude over and over again. I don't know his name. Y'all never seen this dude?
You mean Tyrone? I'll touch you. What is that guy?
No.
Who's the guy?
Indian dude slapping somebody?
No, it's
You know
a-
what's crazy? I had to call the cops for an Indian dude slapping his wife. Potentially last night.
Real?
Potentially.
How can
Yeah,
she slap?
dead ass. Dead ass.
How can she slap?
Dead ass.
How do you know that?
How could she slap?
He brown, dog.
First
You
of all,
know.
That's one of the greatest fucking
It's
video
the
clips of
greatest
all time.
YouTube
How
video
can
of all
she
time.
slap?
It's the greatest YouTube video
Why don't
of
you
all
go
time.
to hell?
How can she slap?
And then-
Why don't you go and fuck off then? You go?
No, but it's
My
you
girl and I
he's
say
such
that
a
shit to each other all the
he's
time.
such a
You go?
badass when he looks at her like,
You go?
Yo, how can she slap?
oh, sir! And he keeps calling the guy sir.
How can she slap?
They
How
beat
can
it.
she slap me, son?
How can she slap?
You go. The whales. Getting beat.
He's crying, dog. Legit crying at the end.
So wait a minute. What were you saying though?
Yo,
Akaash?
so I'm walking in my hallway,
Yeah.
and I hear like an apartment next to me. I hear this dude yelling, and his wife is not really saying much back. And I'm thinking this could be a normal couple fight, but like I know me and my girl have big fights. She yells back.
Right.
And there's just an intensity there, like I know because I grew up with it. So like I'm like, this don't feel right. So I just stand in the hallway, and then this other dude walks by, and I'm like, yo, this sounds a little wild, doesn't it? And he's like, yeah.
Y'all having like a focus group right outside their door?
It's like I'm there for like a minute, and then he's just like, yeah, and I'm like, I guess hopefully this is a normal couples fight, and he's like, yeah, hopefully, and then he just walks off, and so I'm just alone, and then I hear and then I just pound on the door, and then I hear footsteps scurrying, door slam. And then a guy fucking jumps at the peephole, and you can tell he's looking through the peephole, and he's like, what? And I go, what are you doing to your wife? And then he opens up the door, and luckily he's smaller than me.
I was about to say, what are you gonna do?
Yo, that's fucking brave.
Son, it was a minute where I was like, he Indian, so I could probably, you know what I mean? If it was, I could hear Indian language, like a South Indian language.
Yeah.
So I figured he might be big, but probably not. You know what I mean? But then I was like, what are you doing to your wife? And then he goes, where do you live? And I go, don't worry about where I live. 8111. I'm calling the cops. That's where you live. That's where they're coming. And then we just start yelling at each other back and forth. He trying to tape me. He's like, I have you on tape. I said, what are you going to arrest me for knocking on your door? And other neighbors come out. It was like a whole thing last night.
So then what happened?
Holy shit!
Cops came, they fled.
You called the cops?
I called cops straight up. Snitches.
darn.
Give me stitches, dog. I don't give a fuck.
All right, so cops show up.
Cops
That's okay
show
to
up.
snitch. That's okay.
I feel like you
Yeah,
got
I
to
support
snitch
him. I
there.
support that. Yeah.
Cops show up, come get my statement. They told me the couple ran as soon as they
They
got there.
left?
They booked
Together?
it. Yeah, he just ran with her
Killer, you said?
together.
Oh,
Got on that.
Go
magic,
on. Okay.
I was
got
just
on that magic carpet.
yeah. So cops came and then
See
they
this
asked.
little racist joke?
He said magic carpet.
Yeah.
You Muslim, son.
Yo, that's your people. That's
That's
not
what
even
you
his
pray
people.
on. You pray on the magic
My
carpet.
shit ain't magic.
This right here, you put your knees on. It's a magic carpet.
Sonny's from Sudan. They ain't been praying enough. Real talk. Y'all need some more carpets out there, son.
Too much fucking not floor.
Okay, go on.
So they just got my statement. I
Wait,
basically
how does
told them
I'm
like.
talking. So cops come to the apartment. Hey, we have a call about a disturbance.
So first they call me and they're like, "Hey, would you be willing to talk to the cops?" I'm like, "Yeah, absolutely." I go out there. They're waiting like just outside of his door. I tell them what happened.
Right.
He and I are yelling at each other. And the neighbors who opened the door probably thought I was being violent because I was yelling at this dude the way I was. And they were like, "All right, whatever. We'll check the security footage. It matches whatever I say."
yeah.
But then before they knock on the door, I go back to my room because like I'm also worried like if my girl is teaching a fitness class at the apartment. If she comes out and the guy sees me talking to my girl, he's going to be like, oh, that's his girl.
Right.
So I'm like, let me just head back to my room, whatever. So I head back to my room. Cop comes back to my apartment, gets my statement again. Yeah. He takes my license info, and I'm like, what's up with this? Like, anything happened? He goes, honestly, the guy wasn't there. There's like a back door. We think they
like
ran.
with the window and the curtains and down
there's like
the
an actual. There's a back door. It's the
West
first
Side
floor.
Story.
Actually, the way that Jasmine got away from her apartment. Maybe this carpet was there. Holy shit, I mean.
He wasn't showing her the world, though. I'll tell you that.
He was showing her what's underneath it. Oh my God. Okay, so they somehow managed to sneak out.
Yeah.
You're there. Cops go speak to you.
Yeah, and then they're just like, he ran. We're gonna go track him down. We don't know.
Wife is there or no?
Wife left with him. Nobody was at home. Nobody's at home.
Trash bag.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, here's what's fucking crazy. At like 1 a.m, I'm walking with my girl, and I see the fucking dude in the hallway. I gotta walk by this guy's apartment anytime I take out trash, anytime I pick up a package.
Tell me you looked at your girl and said, "Nice to meet you. You have a nice night."
I know. I just said, that's you, because he looked at me. I go, that's you. And then he played dumb. He was like, what? What are you talking about? In an Indian accent that I can't do that well. Yeah. But he goes, what? And I go, you know what the fuck you did. Or I didn't say fuck. I said, you know what you did. And then my girl and I kept walking. And I figure if I keep attention on me, he won't look at my girl.
Right.
So I'm like.
So hypothetical. Yeah. What if he was
God,
like?
Sorry, you were worried that he would recognize your girl and then he could.
Yes, that's my biggest fear in this whole thing. Like he sees my girl. So I've talked to management, I talked to security, I'm going to talk to cops.
But do you think he would do anything to your girl?
I don't think so. And these guys are cowards. These guys are fucking cowards.
Yeah, but your girl, it's like, yeah. This is like a thing that he's doing to his wife, right?
Yeah.
You don't think it's a thing to all women?
No, I just know he doesn't have a problem crossing that line.
I'm going to get you back. You think
and I'm just being paranoid because that's like.
Smart.
So the real question is, if this dude was like fucking Shaq size when he opened the door and you're looking up,
I'd have been like, hey man, you don't want people to get the wrong idea. You know what I mean? Like, I think somebody called the cops. I don't know who.
You gotta be. If he opens that door and he says that, you're like, you need a water or not? And I know you're probably working up a sweat, beating the shit out of your wife. So if you need some water or some Gatorade, we got that in my crib. You know what I'm saying?
Probably need electrolytes. You feel a little depleted.
Yeah. You need a Band-Aid? Is your fist a little bit?
When I pounded on that door the way I did, though, I was like, I just felt like you got to do something. You can't not do something. Yeah. So when I pounded on that door, I was like, oh shit, because I'm pounding hard. And then at that point, I'm not really thinking. I'm like, you just have to commit to this. This is just what it is. You got to do this.
Can I tell you how to handle this, please, from someone who
You just call the cops?
No, this is what I always go to. If I see a guy being violent with his girl, I walk up to him and I say, hey, someone just called the cops.
Right.
They're already called. So not like I'm getting aggressive with you because this guy's already crazy enough to hit his fucking wife in public. Yeah. I don't. Whatever that guy is dealing with, you don't want to.
I've actually been with you when you've used that line on a big black dude.
For real?
Yeah. Okay.
Y'all be seeing people just slapping girls around on the road.
It's New York, dog.
New York, son. Where do you live?
Son, I charged you and me one time.
So
I charged at a homeless dude who slapped his girl, and I said, "What the fuck are you doing?" And again, I don't realize what I'm doing. This guy's crazy.
Here's a weird thing.
People are nuts.
I honestly think I'm blessed because I've literally only witnessed it once in my life.
Well, you witnessed some other shit in Sudan.
Yes,
Yeah, I
that's
mean,
true.
you ain't that blessed.
That's true.
Maybe you learned how to tune it out. Maybe all those years in Sudan,
I worry about that
next to a
sometimes.
fucking ghost
Maybe
site.
you just be falling asleep every time you hear abuse.
Maybe you get comfortable. Like, the sweet sounds of
Takes me back to my
lovely
childhood.
torture.
Takes me back to my childhood. No, yo, I was in L.A.
He can't sleep without a crying person in the background. I just sleep last night. Horrible. It was just cicadas. I need something like, I don't know the answers. I don't know where they are.
Oh, they don't torture with questions, man. They just torture the torture.
Is that right?
Man,
God damn.
you already done fucked up. It's
Like
not
Saw?
yeah. But anyway, so I was in LA. I was at the let out of the club, and we're in the street, and I'm drunk, so I'm talking to people because that's
Yeah.
what I do.
Yeah.
So
I love watching, dog.
so there's this guy. I know there's this girl, and she says like we're in a group, and the girl says some nigga. I was like, wow, I'm cool. In that I like to just fuck with people when they do that. I don't do the hey, you can't say that. I was like, oh, you're pretty liberal with that word there, huh? Like, and she said, yeah, why shouldn't I say it? I'm like, well, I don't know. I mean, I think that some people might say that your, complexion may not be appropriate.
She's a white.
She looked Mexican.
Okay.
Turns out she's half black, right? And so she's like, well, I'm black. I'm like, well, okay. But while I'm having this conversation, I'm like, well, that was funny. Another dude who heard her say it walks up and slaps the shit out of her.
Wow.
And so
White guy, black guy?
he was a black guy.
If
And
she was full white, you get it.
so she gets hit. Everybody goes, what? And the dude takes off because everybody just start chasing the dude. He runs into traffic, into oncoming traffic, and zigzags down the block.
Holy shit.
Motherfuckers book down it. Now I'm watching this being carried away because there's a dude that I work with at ESPN. He was like,
Nah, we're not going to do
You
we're
that.
don't
not
need
going to
that.
do this.
Yeah,
I'm drunk. I'm like, I want to see what happened. I want to see the dude get his.
nah,
But like,
we're
they
not
literally
gonna do
carried
this.
my ass out.
Yeah.
But I was so shocked because I was just like, dude, you just fucking like not like a little hey, no. Like,
Right.
He pulled back and swung with the full force and the full torque.
Dropped her?
She staggered.
He didn't drop her.
No, she staggered, man.
That's soft, son. She had no clue the punch is coming or the slap is coming. I seen people get dropped in those slap
it was a sucker
competitions in
punch.
Russia.
It was a sucker punch because
Yeah.
it was like us three talking, and then the dude came over here and wah, like this.
That's brave because you guys could have been her boyfriends and shit.
Yeah. I mean,
He get away?
Holy
Did you ever find out
fuck.
what happened to him?
nah, I got carried away.
But that's one of those things. Like these people are crazy. You're dealing with a crazy
Yeah,
person.
man,
Actual
like,
crazy person.
You
I
have
just-
to be careful.
I've
with
never
these
had the
people.
urge to hit a woman. Like I don't know.
Yeah, neither of any of us.
No, but I'm just saying. Like it seems like it happens a lot.
Akash?
What? You ever had the urge to hit a woman? Nah, bro. You can't hit no woman. They're not even equals. How you gonna hit a single woman? That's why you gotta
I
defend
was
her.
waiting for that.
Someone called the cops though. Huh? That's a go-to.
Son, you just hey man, someone just called the guy. That's what I walk over. I go walk over calm.
But like,
yo, it's none of my business. Someone just called the cops. I just want to let y'all know because at the end of the day, when most couples, it's sad to say, but when couples are like fighting, even when it gets a little physical, they don't want to leave each other. So the girl will often be like, okay, let's just fucking chill out. Like both of us chill out.
I mean, this
blah, blah,
girl
blah.
ran with her husband. I don't know if he made her or not.
that's what I'm saying. Like is that enough of of an intervention?
Yeah, trust me,
Like,
no
so
one wants to get locked
You're just
up.
gonna relocate the ass
That's what
whooping
I
to
was
somewhere
wondering.
else.
Part of me
No.
wished when I saw her again, when I saw them again, I looked at her and I was like, yo, you don't have to fucking take this. Like,
That's the other thing. They're not going to do like this sounds fucked up, but like you're basically intervening for your like own
yeah,
guilt.
because you don't want to.
100%. I can't live with that, though. I can't live with that. I just walked
you
off.
want to make sure you did something. It's like it is the equivalent of putting the flag on your Instagram.
The blue-
Abby,
yeah, the blue dot,
For
yeah,
Sudan,
absolutely,
right?
absolutely.
You just want to know that you did something, even the littlest thing, to help Sudan, right? If you really. I don't even know what you would do if you really want to help her. Kill him? Because she's going to go back to him anyway.
I mean,
She's going to go back. They go
The
back.
hope is you intervene and you save her this time, and then she wises up at some point.
That's it.
That's the hope.
Yeah.
It's not. You
you're
know
not
what I mean?
saving
Like,
her from him.
I know
You're
I'm
saving
not
her from
saving her
this
long term
particular
necessarily,
asshole.
but I hope this chips away at it. I saved her this time, and I hope even just the thing of seeing how like a dude being like, yo, what the fuck is wrong with you? You don't do that.
Right.
Even that is 1% maybe being like, oh, maybe men shouldn't do this to me.
So tonight you go home. You're walking down the hallway. You hear yelling again.
100% do it again. 100% do it again.
But if it's just yelling.
I would knock and I'd be like, yo, I just want to see what's going on. I just want to make sure everything is cool. I don't want this shit. You know what I mean? Like, son, I don't, like this guy's smaller than me. You gotta be small to be smaller than me. First of all, you gotta be type small. But second of all, like it's just
Have you seen the wife?
Dog is fucked up. I barely remember what she looks like because it was such a thing between me and him going back and forth yelling. I remember
She's
vividly.
definitely a woman?
Yeah, for sure a woman. It was a woman that walked up and I didn't see.
Is she smaller
as
than you?
I'm walking away and we're yelling. Oh,
What
she's
if
smaller
that
than him.
bitch beat the shit out of you, son? That'd be hilarious, yo.
Stop fucking with my man.
Yeah, let my man beat me, and then she just starts beating your ass.
Yeah.
What if that's their thing?
It could
He's
be,
so
but
tiny
the
that
way
they
they're
actually
yelling,
role play where
Yeah.
he can be abusive.
and the way they're yelling, it was like I know the intensity. I just know
sometimes
that.
you get into it.
No, you can just feel the energy. It's like
You're
I know that
probably right.
energy.
You're probably right, but just for jokes, we're going to go with you being
Okay,
wrong.
right.
So you know how like if a girl's dating a guy that like she doesn't respect physically, like she'll have like a rape fantasy, and that's just like her safe way of like trying to feel like he can dominate her.
Right.
You know what I mean? So you guys know what I'm talking about, right? So there's, dude, if your girl says she has a rape fantasy, she's basically saying you are a fucking cuck. She's saying you're so pathetic physically you couldn't even rape her. So she's like, I fantasize about you actually having strength, you loser. This is literally how it works. Okay, so. This situation, maybe he's so tiny and so embarrassingly pathetic, she's got to rile him up to feel some sort of like any kind of physical domination.
I was going a different way. I was going like, maybe this is the only way he gets his dick hard.
Is by beating her?
Yeah.
That's so much less fun thought.
Yeah, bro. We
It's
were
probably
having fun.
closer to right.
Yeah, we were having
But-
fun. Do you remember?
No, but like,
You think that's why so many Indians hit their girls? The girls is like, you mad little, dog. I'm in America. I'm seeing fucking Vikings walking around this bitch. Can you do something, please?
Son, yo, I think we hit the nail in the coffin. How you gonna respect this guy? He's selling
coffin.
fucking pineapples and plums on the street and shit. Real talk.
Why is this
What? He's a fruit merchant on the street, you know.
Yeah, don't get him confused with Bangladeshis,
Oh,
dog.
that's Bangladeshis.
Fuck out of here, son. Disrespect. Dark ass
The guy
motherfucker.
selling cherries in a plastic bag, bro. Motherfuckers disrespecting.
Hot ass cherries.
Hot ass cherries,
gotta
son.
pee, man.
He got
Damn.
15 umbrellas to keep the sun off the cherries so he'll go bad in one day. Man stole the umbrellas from the hot dog man just to keep his goddamn cherries cool.
Sabret.
You know what I mean? He got the Sabret fucking umbrellas.
Oh my god.
Holy shit. You haggling them down.
Oh my god.
You know how much that's got to embarrass his wife, bro?
Yo,
Real talk.
Yo, cherries $7 at the store. You giving them away for $2.99. You fucking pussy. You
Giving
bitch.
them away,
You
getting
weak
haggled
bitch.
down, you weak bitch. And then he said, how country? How country talk about my cherry?
Sir.
How country talk about my cherry? How country talk about my pineapple? My pineapple. Akaash, my pineapple. I sent you for 5 pineapple.
What other fruits you got?
I have pineapple. I have cucumber. I have pineapple.
Do you
I have cucumber.
have asparagus?
I have asparagus. I have cucumber. I have asparagus. I have pineapple, asparagus, pineapple, 3 for 10. No more deal.
How about broccoli or
No,
Brussels sprouts?
I'm broke. I'm broke.
Kumquat? You got kumquat?
I do not have a kumquat. We do not have any kumquat. We don't have any kumquat. I have 1 plum. 1 plum.
Oh my god.
We have red grape and green grape.
You know what's so fitting is you've taken the fruit vendor and you've made him Bangladeshi and Mexican. It's really perfect. It's really perfect.
That's the superpower. You pick them and sell them. Pick them and sell them.
It's called vertical integration.
We call it vertical integration. Vertical integration.
Oh my god!
Oh, can't you slap? I spent all day selling pineapple. All day.
Oh shit.
You got any spices? You got any like oregano, paprika?
We have turmeric.
Oh my god.
We have turmeric. We have turmeric. Turmeric. Yeah. We have turmeric. Yeah. So we do have turmeric. We do have turmeric.
Oh shit.
Oh my god!
For real. For real. One thing we do not have.
Oh no.
One thing we do not have.
What's that?
Lychee. Because these Chinese vendors coming to take all of our business. They come and take all the business with their little lychees.
It's on a switch again.
Again? I'm trying to be angry in it.
I was pausing a bit, but I was gonna let you keep rocking. I felt like you'd find it again. Oh my god!
Almost there.
Oh my god! Fuck, my head hurts.
Did I get pineapple right? How did you say it?
Asparagus was.
Asparago. No, that's Spanish. That's Spanish. So,
Asparago.
the Mexican, bro. How do you say asparagus in a super Latin accent, Eden?
In a Latin accent?
Yeah. Asparago.
Asparagus?
Asparagus. Did a character
I
one
guess.
time.
Asparagus?
Asparago? Asparago? No, you wouldn't say the S.
You're not going all the way to the last syllable, man.
Andrew did a character one time for 10 minutes. We were talking about, my friend was trying to hook up at the comedy club where we came up, Alex, and he said he got stopped by like the head busboy, and Andrew was like, who the fuck is the head busboy? And then, I'm not bullshitting, 10 straight minutes of the head busboy
What the head
character.
busboy would say?
He wasn't a regular busboy. He was the You gotta take it in big play. The big play, I take it in big play. You take the appetizer. You take the little appetizer play. I take the big. I am a boss boy. I am the boss boy. No. Do you want more water? Do you want more water? Do I look like regular boss boy to give water? Maybe if you want more lemons, I give you more lemon, but you don't get water from a boss boy. I don't even come into situation to the entree.
And this,
Yeah, boss boy.
that was the dude that cock blocked.
And Andrew's got so funny. There was a head busboy.
Yo, hold on.
He couldn't get over it.
Take it.
He couldn't get over head busboy.
I couldn't.
How did y'all know?
What?
He just said he's like the head bus. He just decided.
Oh.
My friend was like, he must be like the head busboy. And Andrew's like,
Did he
the
have
fuck
like
you talking
a
about head
special
busboy?
uniform or some shit?
I could not.
You know, like
leave
the
it
tassels and shit, like
alone,
a military commander from a fucking Banana Republic.
I think we just saw him the most, and he had mad authority. You know what I mean? He walked around like he really had power.
Was he like?
So he assumed, yeah, he broke up the fuck fest. He assumed, you know.
Directing the other busboys and shit.
That's
my
what he
God.
did. He was head buzz boy. He was head buzz boy. He would treat the other buzz boys like they were so low.
Well, wait, hold on.
I mean, you should have seen.
Hold on.
There are chrome on the table. Take anything to sweep it chrome off the table. Take any knife and sweep it chrome. Take any chrome man and take any chrome off the table.
Take me to when he was first promoted to head.
Yeah. Please. Please.
Hey, listen, man, I think you've been doing some really great work.
What was my name?
Listen, Javier, I think you've been doing some.
It's Jose, but it's okay.
This is all the same.
You want to talk to me, Patrick?
Okay. Well, my name is Michael, but same thing. I just want to say I think you're doing really great work as a busboy.
Oh, thank you.
Honestly, shining more than all the other busboys.
I'm very tiny.
Yeah, you're very shiny, and I think if you would be amenable to it, we would like to make you the head busboy.
It will be an honor.
Oh my god.
It will be an honor
You're willing to
take the position of head boy.
Oh my god.
Okay, all right, good. I just want to make sure. Start on Monday. Do you know your responsibilities as head bus boy?
Yes! I've been dreaming all this day my whole life. Ever since I became a regular ball boy, I thought one day I could make it a head ball boy.
Do you have any ideas of how to improve the position?
Absolutely no.
Okay.
All right, so he goes home, tells his wife, I have amazing news.
Mamacita, everything going to change. Our lives are going to be completely different now. Remember when I was bringing home the money, regular money? You might say regular money. Well, now it's different. Because I am a boss boy. Let's celebrate. Guess what we get to have? All the leftover we want from the restaurant. Okay? Yo, they told me, don't eat the chicken tender off the plate. I said they finish. It don't matter. But now, hey, boss boy, I get to take whatever I want home. Whatever I want.
That night in bed.
Oh my
Because
god.
he's living on a high now. He's giving her the
Baby, I'm the head boss boy, so there's one thing I deserve more than anything. I have to spell it out. It's on hay.
Fuck me.
Yo, man. This motherfucker don't stop, huh?
Bro, it was relentless,
Yo,
bro.
this is so funny.
It was 10 minutes. But the fact that he even gave it that adjective or whatever, the head bus boy.
Doesn't
But
know.
then also, the idea that the head busboy, if there was such a position, cock blocked him. Imagine
yeah.
being cock blocked by like,
You gotta listen though, because it's like he could go tell somebody whatever. You know what I mean? Just like fuck, this
Wait,
guy
he
works.
worked at it?
He worked for the Lantern. He was the head bus boy.
And he said he was what, fucking in the restroom?
He was trying to fuck in the green room or whatever. Not even the green room,
Bathroom.
in the room or in the showroom. You know,
trying to
after
fuck
shows,
in the
comics would
showroom.
try to fuck in the showroom. Yeah.
Oh. Wait. Looky what we see here. Looky what we see here. It appears to me the two people trying to fornicate. We have some fornicators out here. Well, who do you think is going to have to clean it? Who do you think going to have to clean it when you finish? Probably the head boy. Probably me. So I should clean it. Is that it? Is that I should clean these sperms and the comes all over? Is that what I should do?
Oh my god.
yo. Oh my god. Man.
I probably shouldn't do this.
Situation.
I probably shouldn't do this. But
Okay, go.
how about him talking to his firstborn?
Yo. So she just all right.
Hijo.
You hold on.
Hijo.
You just got the promotion,
See,
and
that's the night of conception for sure.
but now the baby's out.
The baby's out.
So you got here. You go. It's a boy.
Let me tell you something. You will go to school with many other children, and I just want you to know that all the other children, their parents, are regular boss boy. Normal people. Normal.
Plebeians.
Plebeian. Very replaceable. Completely replaceable. Oh, you did not pick the dish. Oh, you got the fork. Bye. But you are so a hey boss boy. You know what your name is? Hey.
Cabeza. Oh, god damn it.
Cabeza. Baby, I don't know if we should call him Cabeza. ¡Cállate la boca! Are you have wife? No, you are wife. You are wife, not my wife.
Oh God.
Oh fuck.
Shit, man. I think I peed myself.
Oh man.
Guys.
Yo, there's something that just came out. Okay, and sent this 20 minutes ago. James Harden, according to Bleacher Report, James Harden and Chris Paul's relationship is, quote, unsalvageable. CB3 demanded a trade, and Harden told the front office to choose between them after losing to the Warriors, per Vince Goodwill on Twitter. So Harden said, get rid of one of us. Chris Paul said, fuck it, trade me.
Good luck.
Yeah,
You
right?
want
What
that
you gonna
contract,
get for
man?
that?
In my opinion, the Roque, the Houston Roque is too much problem. It's too much problem.
Do you know who could clean it up, maybe?
If they're one person, they could take a disaster and mess and make it speak in Spanish.
Oh my God.
It's a horrible sport for the organization. Really? I think you need to take Chris Paul. I think you need to trade him. What?
They have a press conference. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for gathering here. We're here to introduce the newest head busboy for the Houston Rockets organization.
Hi, everyone. It's very nice to be here. I don't have much time because there's a lot of cleaning up to do. How can I help?
Go, questions.
How do you plan on cleaning things up?
With sponge.
You care to expound on?
Mayor Reich.
Okay, all right. What do you think are the biggest problems you're gonna have to clean up?
Probably some stain. Maybe a carpet inside the locker room have a stain from champagne. Haha, just kidding. You don't win. I thought that was
God damn.
There are no celebrations.
It was good. It was good.
All right, I think we drowned it. Okay, we went hard. We went hard on it. Let's. But in all seriousness, what happens with what happens with the Rockets? I mean, who wants Chris Paul? For
Yeah,
30
nobody
million?
wants 125 million for Chris
That's
Paul.
too much for a guy who's too old and falling apart. There's only one place I could think of, but I don't think they have the flexibility to
Where?
do it. The Lakers, of course.
And you think the Lakers would take that chance with
Yeah.
fucking Chris Paul?
Yeah, because they're
Does Chris Paul bow down to LeBron, you think?
yeah, they're boys.
That's the thing.
But yes, until he turns into Chris Paul, and he just
You
becomes.
think even with LeBron, he would be irritating?
He is who he is, man. Like he's a
There's
control
no
freak.
one who can make him.
He's a control freak.
isn't LeBron-
Other control freaks who are like, oh no, but I'll leave the control freak thing aside for now. No, they're always on.
But here's the difference though. Chris Paul, everything he tries to tell James Harden, he's gonna try to tell LeBron. And LeBron's gonna be like, I know. And this is what you should also do, because apparently LeBron has a higher basketball IQ.
Yeah, but like people don't look at it like that, right? You never look at it like, well, he's smarter than me, so I'll just take his word for it. Like, well, there's this thing he's not paying attention to. He's not like there's always something, right? That's the thing. It's always something that we should be doing that we're not doing.
Right.
But I'm the one that saw it.
Right.
I mean, like I don't know, like those types of people. I don't think they turn it off. I mean, I haven't seen it.
So is it possible that Chris Paul isn't in the league in a couple of years?
No, because his contract is.
But he could get
Buyout.
waived, right?
It happened to Melo. Could he get mellowed?
But Melo had 1 year left on his deal when that happened. This dude has like 3 or 4.
Four, I think. I think it's 4 for 125 left.
Does Houston have a?
You know, shit.
They don't have one of those things where you're allowed
The
to.
amnesty, no.
Stretch
You
provision.
could stretch provision it, but like you're talking about it, that might be worse than just having him because at least he plays basketball, right? If you stretch provision him, what it does is it takes the money and it spreads it out over depending on how many years left on the deal. So it'll probably be if it's 4 years, it'll probably around 8 years or something like that. But 8 years of 130 million is like a $20 million, like a $15 million a year cap hit for someone who's not there. So whatever your cap space is, minus 15 to 20, that's going to a dude who's not here that you can't then trade. At least as a person on your roster, you have the hope of saying someone's going to get desperate and we might be able to trade him.
Do you think James Harden will win a championship with the Rockets at least? Or his window going to close with this?
I mean, I think it can happen, right?
Do they trade James Harden?
No, you can't.
But does James Harden demand a trade because he doesn't want to play with Chris?
He might, but I don't.
Apparently, he said trade one of us. I'm pretty sure he said that knowing they'll trade Chris.
Yeah, like,
But if nobody wants Chris, how the fuck?
yeah, like, how do you explain that to him? Like, all right, well, we got to keep this shit going. I mean, again, that's what.
Are basketball players really that stupid about how this works?
No, it's not that. It's just like power, man. Control. Like, if you're not used to hearing no, wow, it's like now you're gonna start listening to no's. Like, this dude doesn't hear no anywhere, right?
Yeah, true.
Now you're gonna but no, you can make it happen. You can take a bad deal. You can go trade for John Wall. I don't give a shit, right?
Right.
If James Harden is just like, I don't want this motherfucker here, right? And so there's no such thing as an untradeable contract. It's just harder to trade than others, but you're willing to take back the shit. You can. Gilbert Arenas got traded.
What I would say if I'm a team that's rebuilding, like even a Pelicans, you give me all the fucking first round draft picks I can. I'll give you Drew Holiday, and I'll take on CP3.
I'll tell you who you call the Suns.
Whoa.
You call the Phoenix Suns. Like, you guys don't have a point guard. You guys don't have any veterans. You guys have a bunch of people that you don't like.
Who would you ask for?
Shit, like everyone not named. I mean,
Devin Booker.
Yeah.
But who are they going to send you? Because I don't want to pay 34-year-old Chris Paul for 4 years, $125 million, unless you're giving me something with in addition to Chris Paul. Like, I'm not going to give you pieces for Chris Paul.
No, but like, you're the Suns, so like, to have a player Chris Paul's caliber is like the biggest shit ever for them. Like, they don't get players. No one wants to sign there, so you kind of almost have to overextend on something like that. You probably get like Josh Jackson and TJ Warren and picks, and you're not gonna get Devin Booker, that's for sure. You probably won't get
Ayton.
No
either.
fucking chance you get Ayton, right?
So then you're left with picks and young guys, and if you're the Rockets, you're like, fine, we'll take it.
We'll take it.
Like,
Anything to get this off.
Anything get Harden back happy, and then also you could take those things. Not necessarily you're gonna keep them. You can turn them around, package them, get someone else.
So you trade for expiring contracts and future
And young guys,
and young guys just to get him the fuck away.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
And then you turn around and you shop around.
Yeah, the Suns would be, I think, very stupid to take that deal. If I'm trying to be smart on the Pelicans, Drew Holiday has no place here. He's great. He's probably
But Chris
killer of
Paul's
the city.
older than Drew Holiday, so what you just done is you accelerated the fuck out of.
If I'm the Pelicans or the Hornets, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Pelicans. I get draft picks to rebuild with. Chris Paul's going to eat up my cap for 3 years, and then he's gone. Then I got mad cap space to play with. I got assets in the meantime. I can build and build and build. And Paul will be a good point guard for them.
I don't know how many draft picks you get from Houston though.
But don't you? If you're New Orleans, right?
They offered 4 for Jimmy Butler.
Yeah, that was for a player, not for to get rid of someone. That's a real
Well, you
big
got it.
difference.
You're desperate, right? I mean, this is much easier said than done. But I would say, give me shit you like, and I'll take Chris Paul, or give me something I can use, and I'll take Chris Paul.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Okay.
Is there anything else we want to captain on real quick?
No, we got Patreon questions.
Yeah, let's do the Patreon question. Then we wrap this up.
Someone asked about Jameel Hill kind of throwing LeVar Ball under the bus.
What did Jamel say?
Basically, you heard LeVar Ball.
He said, nah, I like New Orleans. No LA. Like, he did the LeVar Ball thing.
She said Molly Karam
Yeah.
said changing. Can I change gears with you for a second?
Oh, and then he said,
LeVar goes,
you
you can change gears with me anytime.
Yeah.
And then they were like, oh, okay. And then he goes, no, just ask. But like, we had the video up.
Yeah.
But he's not. He doesn't go. You can change gears with me anytime.
He didn't do it salaciously. He did it the LeVar Ball corny uncle at the barbecue way.
This is from Mike Schwang, but not even remotely sexually in my mind.
Yeah, I know.
Let me ask you: if Molly went, hey, can we flip the script for a second? Don't you think that he would have said, you can flip the script for a second anytime you want? I feel like that was a placeholder, and he was just going to say that sentence with whatever
he was
going to
repeat whatever the fuck she.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Because
Yeah.
Can you pull up the video, please, Chris? And if you look at his face after he asked, there's no creepiness. He's like, no, go, ask. Because everybody was kind of uncomfortable.
Right.
And maybe he freaked, but he's like, no, just ask. It seemed completely.
Yeah.
And then Jameel Hill was like, applause to Molly for handling his misogynistic comments so well, or something to that effect. Here. And I'll see if I can pull up the...
No, that's Dave Barabbas. That's not Jamel Hill said that.
No, this is...
Props to Molly for the way she handled it. Yeah, her reaction actually is what made it. Because it's funny, we don't actually get to see what was on his face when he said it. All right. We can see her like,
Yeah.
Yeah, and then it didn't sound...
But like, I mean, like my thing about LeVar Ball has been this. He is your uncle at the barbecue, man. And 99% of everything he says is a cliche. So what you said was absolutely dead on. Like, he was going to... All right,
whatever
let's
she
change
said.
That's exactly my thought.
Can I
You
change
could change
topics?
subject.
You could change whatever you want. Like whatever it was. Can I flip a burger? You would flip a burger anytime. Like, whatever it was, he was going to repeat it because all he does is fill that space.
Right.
Just to talk.
So I know you. I kind of took a shot at her early, and you were like, "Nah, she's
That's my
great."
homegirl.
And this is
Jamal-
my
Jamal's my
this is
homegirl.
my issue with her. This is her tweet, and I feel like she does this.
Yeah.
Kudos to Molly Curran for the professional way she handled LeVar Ball after his inappropriate comment. Maybe ESPN will have finally learned its lesson about putting him on TV. I kind of think she does that. I've seen her do this with Des Bryant on some innocent like pizza tweet he had about somebody saying, "I'm still an Eagles fan." He's like, "Well, I won't be eating there anymore." And she's like, "Oh, I guess you won't take a stand for this, you'll take a stand for this, but you won't take a stand for..." Never mind. And it was about him not taking a stand on the kneeling thing.
This, yeah, so I'll say two things. One is the relationship between LeVar Ball and ESPN is fascinating because it went from we can't get enough to he's not allowed to be on our air anymore to LaMelo's on the jump now. Like, I remember when like the jump was like, we would not mention the Ball family at all other than...
Why?
That was just it. Like, hey, we don't do that shit. We're the serious basketball show. We don't go into the sideshow. And now, like the other day, like the kid's on the show. So I'm like, well, okay. I guess, like, why to announce that he's going to Australia? Like, okay. Like, I didn't know that's what we do. Isn't there a recruiting show that does that?
Right.
Or whatever? But so it's a complicated relationship, to say the least.
Right.
Between, the things going on. The other thing I would say is about the Des Bryant thing. The one I don't feel like, especially what I'm going through right now, I don't feel like shaming people into, like, I feel like shaming a country, obviously, but I don't feel like shaming individuals. Because I could do that. I could be like, yo, Schulz, you didn't change your avatar to
Exactly.
blue, man. You don't
I
give a
agree
fuck?
with you.
Like,
Yeah.
Like, that, to me, A, that's not really a way to recruit people into doing that stuff. And B, all it does is changes the conversation from the actual fucked up things that are happening to
Yes.
like that we talk about all the time. People who get more outraged
By
over in Blazing Saddles when he said harumph, and then I didn't get a harumph out of you. We're gonna get more outraged about that than we are about the actual bullshit where people are dying.
more
or whatever.
outrage about lack of outrage.
Yes.
Yeah.
Than the thing we were supposed to be outraged
Yeah.
in the first place.
And if you can allow people to shift a narrative away from the folk, they already won.
But and to me, like,
what Trump did
but
brilliantly.
yes, absolutely. But I also feel that pull. I do feel that pull where it's like I see people who are at least retweeting what I tweeted or like saying something, and I see people who don't. And my thing is always like, well, you know me, and this is something that affects me personally. I have an urge to like, yo, man, what's up? What's the deal? But I have to tell myself, man, you can't live life like that, because then I'm guilty of, I didn't tweet about like cockfighting is bad, and I didn't tweet about this and that. So
Cockfighting is decent. It's a perfectly reasonable thing to do.
There's we got to get out of here, but yeah, and then there's different ways where you can affect. Like there was, I know that Van Lathan sent the your video to me and Charlemagne on our group text. And he started that conversation with us, and then the conversation went to, well, what is the solution to this? How can we spread awareness? We need to make sure we just don't tweet something out in the void so that we feel good, but it really doesn't do anything. Me personally, I always thought things are more effective to be said on the show because you actually have a little bit more. And
but that's the point. And the point is, it starts with you tweet, change your avatars, and then people are like, what the fuck is this shit? Then Amin was on Flagrant 2. He actually explained it, and then. So at some stage, the social media awareness stuff actually matters. We're going to reach a stage where we need people to do more. We'll get there when we get there. But for right now, just letting people know some shit's happening.
Educate the populace.
Yeah, educate
That's the first step. Guys, thank you so much for listening to another episode of Flagrant 2. It's the Patreon. Just hit 6,000 subs. Very excited
That's
about
dope,
that.
bro. That's
We out
dope.
here.
Let's go.
Big time. Big motherfucking time. Thank y'all so much for all the support. We love you. We will see you guys Tuesday, and then we will see you. When will we see
Friday.
you? Oh, yeah, then we'll see you again Friday, and the love goes on. Keep spreading the word. Keep growing the army. Charlemagne and I are going on Rogan this week, so if you haven't listened to that, by the time this comes out already, go give that a listen. That'd be dope. Hopefully that's a lot of fun. But yeah, thanks again, man. Keep it tight.
God bless.
Oh, yeah, and Darth Amin
At
on
Darth Amin, Instagram, Twitter.
There we go. Peace.